Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Simi Russell, coming at you with nothing but Knicks. We just seen the Knicks take a loss of Summer League. It's okay, but we still seen a lot of good things. We're going to talk about it with our special guest, Tommy Dee. Let's go. And here we go, Knicks fans. How you doing? What's poppin'? I'm glad to see you here with me. It's 11 o'clock at night, and you're here. It's late, so I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. And I'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Tommy Dee from the X's and O's podcast. He's a guy that I've been following for years and really respect his opinions about the New York Knicks. And I'm just glad he's here. Just glad that he's here. Tommy, you want to just give a shout out to the chat?
For sure, Simeon. Great to be with you. Fan of yours as well, and really appreciate you having me on. And everybody who's in the chat, I'm looking forward to answering some questions and talking about some Knicks for sure. Heartbreaking loss there, for all of us who watch the team. Even the summer league losses hurt, right?
Yeah.
So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I actually even mentioned on Twitter, that last foul against Knox. It's like, wow, the refs even get us in summer league, right? You can't even get away from it in summer league.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. So what did you think? So what do you think so far from what you've seen from summer league?
Well, to me, Knox hasn't gotten into his stride yet. He's probably missing shots that he has made. And the guy scored 3,000 points in high school, and obviously had a pretty strong first year with Kentucky, playing at Kentucky. Don't think he played with the best guards necessarily. So that sort of, he had to create on his own and make things happen. But once he gets his stride and gets paired with, I think, the right guard or guards, he's going to get into rhythm and knock down shots. For me, when I look at a guy like that, having played the point guard position and coached the point guard position, scouted the point guard position, I just sort of see, where does he want the ball, right? Who is the guy that got him 3,000 points? Was it him? Was it his coach? Was it his guards? That I think his final overall points was like 2,700, 50 or 60, whatever it was. But I'll round it up to 3,000. 3,000 points is all points. In high school. Even if you played 4 or 5 years, that's a lot. And so I was telling you the story earlier today. I played in a golf tournament a couple weeks ago with Seth Greenberg, and I think I owe him royalties at this point by now. The draft was on Thursday. I saw him Friday morning, and I just walked right up to him. We have a mutual friend, 2 mutual friends actually, and I said, tell me about Knox. And Seth and Cal are very close, and that was I don't think that's a secret. Not telling not breaking any news here.
Mm-hmm.
Cal asked Seth to come in and Coach Greenberg to come in and tell him or tell the team, basically what he thought. Cal was saying, he's basically exhausted a lot of, his energy, can't keep talking over and over and over. And I think the message was, at least from Coach Greenberg's perspective, was, how do you sort of kick Knox into gear? And the next game he goes out in Morgantown, West Virginia, and puts up, I think it was the 34-7 game, and he ended up beating a very good West Virginia team.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his sort of, I can do this moment. He had moments when I was watching him, and I never saw him live. But from when I watched on tape, I just felt like he floated a lot and wasn't attached to the ball. But I think the Knicks right now have the right recipe with Fizdale, Coach Fizdale, and with Scott Perry and what they're trying to do strategically. And I think Ntilikina is part of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
If they can attach him to the ball, coming off screens, pick and roll. And Fizz actually said something that I thought was awesome. Putting Knox and Porzingis in sort of pick and roll, top pick and roll a lot is exciting. And that to me is sort of where maybe before the conversation you want to talk about Kyrie, you want to talk about Kemba Walker, you want to talk about who's the next point guard, who I don't think is going to be Frank, and that's okay. I think Frank's going to be a nice piece to the rotation. But I think to start the conversation with sort of Knox, Porzingis, 4-5 pick and roll top key, that's pretty exciting stuff.
It is. And I mean, Knox's ability, just from what I've seen in summer league so far, one, all of the things that I heard, the Knox, no pun intended,
Knox, yeah.
that I heard about him is that, like you said, he would kind of go, maybe go to sleep on the court, fade away. I haven't seen any of that in summer league. Haven't seen it at all.
No, he's engaged, and the first basket that he scored professionally was in transition, off the wrong foot, putting the ball behind his head, and creating a pretty awesome poster.
Yeah.
That for your first two, that's pretty impressive. And he's 18, and I heard Cal MSG got a good maybe 2 or 3 minute soundbite. I'm gonna put it on my podcast tomorrow morning. Cal was just like, "Hey, listen, kid's 18. He's 3 years, 2.5 years from actually being able to, understand Vegas."
Right.
and New York, but what he has learned at Kentucky, and I know this. I've been down at Kentucky. I know how that whole process and how that whole situation and that program works. You literally have 100 people of the national media there, from the national media there every game. Every move that you make, every play that you take off, people take notes of. So him coming in here, he's gonna understand that there's that pressure. But I also like the way that, in all honesty, taking the pressure off this year and saying like, hey, listen, there's another lottery pick, and adding another piece. It does take a lot of pressure off. There's no expectation level that's really high here.
Right.
And I know that's, the media, and we talked about this, I think, a little earlier. The tabloids are going to eat that up, and they're going to say, this is New York, and how can you not have expectations? If it can happen in Philly, it can happen in New York. That's a fact.
Right. And like we were saying earlier, his body, the size at 18 years old. You just said he's 18. At 18 years old, looking at his body, the size of his body already, he can. I'm not gonna say he's gonna bang with like LeBron, but he can handle it physically in the NBA at 18.
To me, that's where I was like, it's a combo of Gallinari and Will Chandler, right? Like, he's bigger than Will, at this age. I don't know if he's bigger. Gallinari was legit 6'10", and 230, 225, and all of a sudden he could roll up on single side bump, or he could post guys up, and all of a sudden he starts handling the ball. Gallinari wasn't the athlete that Knox is, but to me that was always that combo, right? So when I see Knox now, I feel there's that, it's the Chandler Gallinari combo, and then when you add a Hezonja into the mix, that's exciting stuff, because you can spread floor. These guys are going to be able to make shots, and they can make plays in transition. They've been the worst transition team. Yeah. Melo's got a lot to do with that, and you and I have talked a lot about Melo over the years. I'm sure. Melo quickly became one of the worst transition players in the league. Regular season to me is about transition, driving to the basket, making plays. They still don't have that. I don't think that's Ntilikina, but Ntilikina is a great defensive transition player and can also make things happen, at least in secondary.
Mm-hmm.
But to have two wings like Isiah and Knox, that's as exciting as it's been to me since, as from a young player perspective, since they've had Will
Yeah,
Chandler and Gallinari.
definitely. I mean, I don't know when is the last time I've seen the Knicks have this much talent. Young talent. I mean, I guess I would date back to that Wilson Chandler and Gallinari and them guys. I mean, but we have a lot of young talent when you add in Mitchell Robinson and Troy Williams, even Trier, who's going to be on the two-way. You know, he has some ability. I seen him go to the basket tonight in the game, and I just said, wow, he's so strong. You know, he can go to he's strong when he goes to the basket. We'll see what happens with him and how it works out. But then with Frank and KP, I mean, we have a ton of upside. And then with the possibility of KP, you know, we don't know if he's going to be back or be out for the remainder of next year. And looking at realistically, we're probably not going to win a lot of games next year, bringing in another, maybe top 5, top 10 pick. We have a lot of things going on, a whole lot of things going on. One thing that I'm really excited about with Frank being able to play in Summer League this year, and I know if he would have played last year, he still wouldn't play with KP because KP wasn't playing Summer League. But with this year, he's getting a chance to play with Kevin Knox. Over the season, I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't play with KP as much as I would have liked to see him play. Because I felt like when he played with KP, KP likes to shoot that jumper from the top of the key. And it just seemed like when Frank was on the floor with him and they would run that screen and pop, for whatever reason, KP would really be wide open at the top of the key for a really, really good look. I don't know if it's the way that Frank sucked in the defense, guys seeing that his eyes were wandering, seeing who to get the ball to, so they sucked into him. I'm not sure, but KP was always wide open. And I seen it today with Kevin Knox as well. Kevin Knox, he had how many? He made 2 3-pointers. One of them was at the top of the key from Frank, and it looked like the same type of play that Frank had with KP. They came off the screen and roll. Kevin Knox rolled to the top. Frank somehow sucked it in, got the long arms over top to him, wide open 3. So I'm excited to see him getting to play with Knox early.
You hit the nail on the head there. It's being able to deliver over the top. Smaller guards have to attack and suck the defense in deeper and go under or get below the foul line, and then maybe pull back and then kick back.
Right.
So, you remember Linsanity. We always have this argument. We used to have this argument, not you and I, but we used to have this discussion or debate or argument, however you want to say it, with Linsanity fans. Ray Felton could do what Jeremy Lin did, and he would do it better because he was able to get under the free throw line and suck the defense in and then kick back out for jump shots. Jeremy Lin was a better finisher in that short window of time, but Felton was really good about getting underneath the free throw line. Frank's not that good at that, but his arms are so long and he's able to get over the defenders, the smaller defenders' arms who are sort of on that, parallel plane to the floor. And all you have to do is throw it up to a guy who's got 7 foot, 7'3" and 8 foot something or 9 foot hands, and he can catch and shoot from that high release. And then when you add, as we were talking about earlier with Fizdale, if Knox is the guy who's running off that, he doesn't have to go that far either. That's another high pass to a high catch.
Right.
And those guys are so good at catching at that spot and knocking down shots at such a young age. That's what's so funny to me. When you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever, at that age, you really don't have strong wrists, right? Like you really need to, and strong ankles and the lower body. Like at the NBA level, that's where your growth really comes in, right? And I want to see Frank grow into his ankles and his wrists. I want to see Porzingis grow into his ankles now and his knees and his wrists, and Knox seems pretty strong at his age, at the wrists and the ankles. And that's exciting because he's going to be able to, to just make plays go into the basket and make plays from behind the arc. And you just have to get him to, engage defensively. And I think they're on their way to doing that.
Yeah. Now, we know about Mitchell Robinson and Troy Williams. Have you seen anyone else in Summer League so far that you're impressed with?
I do like Troy. I like Troy Williams a lot. Dotson to me was great the other night. Tonight didn't play well. Trier disengages to me a little bit. Which is okay, but he's on a two-way, so I think he needs to sort of maybe just be a little more try to focus in more on dribble handoffs and getting Knox more touches. Knox took 20 shots the other night, took 15 tonight. Mm-hmm. They lost by a couple, right? Where they lose by 5, but it really was a one possession game for the entire game, right? Robinson got beasted, to start the third quarter. I think there was 10 straight points from Tony Bradley, right? And somehow the Jazz went away from that. I don't know if Bradley got hurt, but he was 7 for 8 from the field, 16 points. I'm looking at the stats. I wish I knew them I used to know them on top of my head, but don't know them anymore. I need to look in the notes. But in terms of who's impressed, Troy Williams he played a perfect game yesterday. Yeah. And he had moments today. Ntilikina was, to me, their best player. And that's what's funny to me, because I woke up today, went out hiking today with the family, and as I was looking on the phone, people were really giving Frank a hard time. And I'm like, well, what do you want from the guy? Right? What do you want from the kid? Right? Like, right. He's 19 years old, first summer league game, they win, scores 5 points, takes 7 shots, and he gets their 3 best scorers 44 field goal attempts. Right. And he only turned the ball over 3 times.
Right.
Do you want Trey Young? Do you want a guy like that who's going to take 10 bad shots? And then here's the thing that people don't understand. Everybody pretends like they understand the point guard position. And I challenge them with this. If you take a bad shot and it doesn't go in, and it's not in rhythm in the offense, it's a turnover. You might as well just put it in the ledger as a turnover. Trey Young yesterday took how many shots and made 4? Mm-hmm. And let's say he took 5 bad shots. It's 5. Those are 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
As long as the team, obviously the Knicks, whoever they're playing against, gets a rebound. But those are turnovers. Those are shots where the ball's in the air and it's not in the offense possession, right? So, give me the guy who's going to take a minimal amount of shots. How many shots did Ntilikina take tonight? Frank took 14 shots, had 17 points.
Right, 14. Yep, 7 for 14, 17 points, 1 for 5 from 3.
Did he take 1 shot or 2 shots or 3 shots where you said, you know what, they may be turnovers? Okay, fine. Maybe. Okay, so he had 1 turnover on the books, and then you want to say he took 2 or 3 bad shots, so he had 4 turnovers.
4 turnovers, yeah.
Max.
Right.
And 17 points and 6 assists.
Yeah. And if you're looking at it, those bad shots are probably because the coaching staff was telling them, hey, go out there and be aggressive and take some shots tonight.
Go out, started early, and then, he did that, right? I think we said it earlier, he had 13 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then now it's who's gonna come in and take over for him on the back end. And Dotson didn't do it. Trier was good, I thought, but then they didn't, I thought the bench was bad. I thought Garrett was bad. Paul Watson was okay the other night. Last night, I keep saying the other night. The other night was last night, but that tells you how long my weekend's been. Right. But who's the guy that's and that's that to me is where how do you define the point guard position going into this season? Is it going to be Trey Burke? And Coach Fizdale's been saying, everybody eat what you kill and keep what you kill or whatever. And, that's great. Is Trey Burke a better all-around player to me right now than what you see tonight from Ntilikina? Not sure. Is Moutier? Definitely not.
No, definitely.
And so, and I think Dotson, I know he got hurt. He didn't play well tonight at all. I think Dotson's got a shot as well. But, all in all, to answer your question, who were the best players I've seen? Robinson certainly on the books looked terrific. Aside from that early third quarter, and Coach Miller could have made an adjustment there, but you're not going to take Robinson off the floor that early in third.
Right.
So yeah, I think Ntilikina was their best player, and Knox certainly was up there as well, and Robinson. So those three, and Troy Williams has been terrific.
Yeah. And Troy Williams, when he came last year, it was so exciting because all season long we hadn't really seen that kind of athleticism, and he just came in with the athleticism and a spark and energy. Yeah, and it was just so exciting. I'm really glad he's back. I think he fits in perfectly with what Fizdale wants to do in the way that he wants to play. He's perfect for it. And another guy that you're adding, to this young group of, the Fizz kids is what we call them, the Fizz kids, and another guy that you're adding to it.
I like that.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you mentioned was Knox in transition, because we talk about a lot is, Fizz is always talking about positionless basketball. And when you talk about it, you look at the guys that we have on the team. When you talk about Knox and Frank Ntilikina, even Troy Williams and Mitchell Robinson, maybe one day, people compare him, say that maybe he has the ability to be like Anthony Davis one day.
Can be.
I mean that's when you talk about positionless, to have a guy like Knox that can grab the rebound and initiate the fast break is, if you can get that from almost every position on the floor, it's very, very hard to guard. And we've seen it from Knox so far.
For sure. My mind takes me to Kyrie, and here's why. You're always going to need to have the guy who knows what to do with the ball at the end of shot clocks in big games.
Mm-hmm.
Knox is too young for that. Porzingis understands it. Ntilikina is probably too young for it as well. But what they're lacking is the point guard and the quarterback. So when you talk about positionless, it's, there is that combination of, yes, when the ball goes off the rim, you rebound it and you just kick it out to someone and you get up in transition and you can score. It's positionless, right? Everybody runs their lanes. If you get ahead of it, like last night, Knox did a great job, 2 or 3 possessions, defending perimeter and then flying, ball comes off the rim, touchdown. That's Fizdale's certainly transition scheme. Why wouldn't it be? The Heat were probably the best transition team since Showtime Lakers, when they had Wade and LeBron used to catch rebounds and throw the ball at the rim, and Wade used to dunk it, and vice versa.
Right.
And when LeBron first got to Cleveland with Love would rebound it and literally throw touchdown passes, and LeBron would either take one dribble or I remember full court alley-oops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knox can be that guy, but that's not a system. That's a threat that stretches. That stretches teams in transition. You got to have the quarterback that's going to be able to handle the ball. And that's where I think Kyrie, because Kyrie is a player who can not only do that in transition, pass the ball to Knox, rebound, and do all that stuff, but then in half court, make really, really hard shots, make tough decisions.
Right.
And I think Ntilikina can play with Kyrie. I think Ntilikina can play with Jimmy Butler and Kyrie. I'm getting ahead of myself, but point being, as it relates to Knox, I didn't think I was all about Mikal Bridges. That was a fact. I thought and I still do think that he's, as a 2 guard or a 3, he is as good a transition 2 or 3 that I've seen since Klay Thompson. I don't think there's a doubt about that. Knox is a better, from what I've seen right away, transition 4 that I've seen, and I wasn't expecting that. So for him to be able to defend on a 2 or 1 and then fly up the court, and then Knicks get the rebound, whoever it was, and I think it was Ntilikina who threw a couple touchdown passes, or one or the other last night. To have that ability in that player is something I did not expect. Yeah. I didn't think he was that good of a defensive player, and to see that right away, in addition to his ability to jump off the wrong foot in transition and put it behind his head for the first bucket. That's. I probably didn't do enough homework on Kevin Knox for sure.
And so, do you think Fizdale talked about that long lineup where Kevin Knox plays the 2? Do you think that's really a reality? I mean, I look at it, I see what Kevin Knox can do. I've seen him. I think he's going to have the ability to spot up. Of course, he can go off the dribble. He can play at 3 levels, and he can come off screens.
I think small ball is narrative. Like, I think, in order to get enough people talking about the teams that aren't good, that are not playoff teams, you talk about how there's this evolution, and it's, you gotta go to the summer league, or you gotta go to Sloan, conference, or, you gotta write a blog about your team. I know a little something about writing a blog about a team. But I also know a lot about the league, and I know that more often than not, push comes to shove, big's going to beat small. Right. And to me, if you could put a group together where Ntilikina is the 1, Knox is the 2, Porzingis is the 4, Robinson is the 5, and you could put somebody else, at the 3, Troy or Hazonia. That's. And all of a sudden everybody wants to play post up ball, and you want to beat up small ball and be that sort of foil to that. There's that, but you got to be able to me, and this is the same stuff that I used to catch shit about all the time with the triangle and being defender of the triangle. You have to be able to build a system where and Fizdale talked about this in one of the press conferences maybe 2 or 3 days ago. You have to be able to build a system that has elements of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else you're going to lose.
Right. Because, I've had some people in the chat, say that, posting up is dead, it's going away. And I refuse to believe that. You've got to have time. I look at Houston in Game 7, and they couldn't hit a 3. And, they couldn't, they were all perimeter. If they had just one person that could anchor that offense in the post for a few possessions, they could have been in the championship. Which is why I think maybe Melo can help them, if he ends up going to Houston. But because Clint Capella, that's not his game, right? He's alley-oop to the basket, offensive rebound, block shots. They didn't have anyone that can go in the post and just get some buckets, get some buckets in the post, which I just think it's important. It doesn't have to be like it was back with Patrick Ewing, where that was you throw the ball into him and everyone stands around. It doesn't have to be that, but every once in a while you need someone like a Cantor that can get you something in the post, I think.
So we talked about it, I was in those practices watching Coach D'Antoni. I talked to Coach Atkinson. I talked to Coach Weber, Donnie Walsh. I was fascinated by that philosophy. And what everybody talked about back then was Mike D'Antoni's stubbornness of not just the narrative there was that he didn't care about defense. It wasn't so much about caring about defense as much as he didn't care about slowing the game down. Mm-hmm. He wanted to just play and play and play and play. And the league has gone that way, right? It's an exciting way to watch the game. If you have a Steve Nash, if you have a James Harden, it's you can win a lot of games. And in his defense, had Amari not gotten suspended in 2008, the Tim Donaghy stuff, there's a good chance they beat the Spurs in that series and then win the championship. They beat LeBron, in that finals, right? That was the Spurs. Spurs ended up beating Cleveland. Detroit beat Cleveland. But the next year, who did the Spurs beat? The Lakers? I'm not sorry. Who did this? I'm drawing a blank on it, but
yeah.
But in 2008, the Suns should have been. They should have won the championship that year had it not been for that suspension. I feel
right.
And a few things, but that was D'Antoni leading into the Team USA stuff and ultimately getting the job with the Knicks. Back then, the conversation was about his stubbornness, and it was about pace. He wanted to push pace. Steve Kerr, actually, Mark Jackson sort of started it with the Warriors, and it was the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson years initially. But to me, when I watched and followed the Knicks back then, the narrative pushed against D'Antoni was, oh, this is the Knicks. You got to play defense. You got to be able to guard. You got to be able to do this. This is the Garden. It's defense first, protect the paint, blah, blah, blah. That was a block of time that led into that Carmelo trade. To your point, I don't think D'Antoni's really evolved much. I think he's a great basketball coach. I think him and Harden, I remember being on many podcasts when he first took the job with Harden, and I'm like, is Harden and D'Antoni, are they not the best marriage, at least in the regular season?
Right.
And it's true. Like they really are that combination, perfect combination, to win 60 something games, to win MVPs, to do all that stuff in the regular season. But then what happens in the playoffs? Game slows down. Right. Game slows down, and you have to start to make plays. You can't just stretch the floor. Yeah. You have to have some sort of counters and post ups. And Clint Capella is not a post up player. There's a reason why Ryan Anderson doesn't get minutes. Right. Trevor Ariza is not a post up player. Eric Gordon's not a post up player. Harden could be a post up player. And that's where I think he evolved this year, and D'Antoni evolved a little as well. They just weren't good enough to beat the Warriors.
Yeah. And maybe, with not the addition of Chris Paul last year, but with him on the floor, he's going to have some different experiences and have played in different types of systems. He may be able to just say, okay, I'm going to take it over from here, Mike. And
to not have him was a big deal. And exactly. And that's also a knock against D'Antoni, because with the Knicks, he played 7 guys, and he played them 35, 40 minutes every night. Yeah. If you go back, I did this the other day. You go back and look at that Duhon 22 assist game. He played 6 guys. Wow. They scored 135 points against the Warriors. Right. And guys played 40, 42. Al Harrington played, on one leg, played 38 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. If you're just joining us, we're live with Tommy Dee from the X's and O's podcast. I'm sure you guys have some questions. Tommy, if you don't mind, I'm going to open up the line for some people to call in. Let's do it.
And, until we get some calls, we'll continue to chat it up. So if you want to call in, you got some questions for Tommy, or you just want to get your point across, give me a call. Call in through Skype. You know the number, or you know the username. I want to get to, you were talking a little bit earlier about Frank and Dotson's back. Oh, we got a call. Isiah, I'm going to tell you a story, Tommy. This guy, Isiah, and I went to the NBA draft, and, him and I, we met at the draft. He is always, without fail, I think he's sitting by his phone with his finger on the button. Without fail, he is the first person to call in every single show.
I got to set the tone, man.
I don't know what it is, but every single show, he is the first person to call in. Now, Tommy, I'm not sure if you're able to hear him, with the way the setup is, unless you're, on the stream. I don't know. Isiah, can you say something? Just say.
What's going on, chat? Black is time. What's up, Tommy? Glad to have you on the show. Welcome to the family.
Tommy, you probably didn't hear that, did you? He just said, "What's up? Glad to have you on the show and welcome to the family." So what I'll have to do, I don't know if, so I guess I'll have to transcribe for you.
All good.
Yeah, that's a little kink that I'm gonna have to work out. All right, Isiah. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, Sam. You can tell Tommy that I appreciate him. I love his knowledge of what he's talking about. I agree 100% with him, and it feels good to have a writer, aka not Frank Iosha, not talk crap and know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he said, Tommy. He said he appreciates your knowledge. Glad to have you on the show. And he said, it's good to have a writer, not Frank Isola, on who knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
we can talk a lot about that.
Right. So what's going on, Isiah, man? What's happening with you? What's your take on summer league so far?
You know what's remember in the draft? I was gonna tell you. Remember in the draft, I wanted Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I could always admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong, man. You were right, man. Shout out. Actually, I want to shout out to Tony Crowe if he's listening, because Tony Crowe called it, and he was right. Kevin Knox is the man. I'm loving what he's doing, man. I'm loving Mitchell Robinson. It's beautiful, man. This is refreshing. We haven't had a high flyer in a minute, man. And Kevin Knox, man, he's doing his thing. And I can admit when I'm wrong, man. I didn't think Kevin Knox had it, but I believe he does. I believe he's a star in the making, man. This dude is special. He's bringing up the court. What really got me, and I'm not even worried about the offense, is the defense, which actually got me very hyped.
Yeah.
And very, very happy to see that he's doing. And I'm excited for that because I'm like, I was a little skeptical because I thought he was gonna really be behind with the learning curve with the defense. But he's switching, he's staying with his man, he's not flat-footed, he's moving, he's good. And I think we definitely got to steal in both rounds, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And Tommy, can you hear him now?
I just heard him, but I didn't know who he was talking about.
He was just talking about Kevin Knox.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what I did, and out there in the chat or everyone listening in on the show, you might get a little bit of an echo. But what I did is I turned my speakers up in the background so they can come through the mic. That way you can hear it. So excuse me, folks, if we have a little bit of an echo, but I think maybe this will work.
So in my mind, in response to the Knox stuff, he's talking about the lateral stuff. The thing that if we go back and look at it, I took note on it.
Yo, Sim, I can't hear you.
Ntilikina goes off in the last couple minutes, maybe the last 90 seconds of the second quarter.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Cuts it to 4.
Hello?
And concrete feet gets stuck in the corner, didn't help, and gave up a layup. And that, I think, was 6 or I want to say 5 or 6 heading into the half. So yeah, he's He's a good defender, definitely a scorer, but his lateral reads defensively
Isaiah, I can't hear
at a
you.
young age need a lot of help. He didn't get that education at Kentucky.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah. Isiah, can you hear me? I think.
Okay.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just quiet while Tommy was speaking. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, he was just commenting a little bit about what you were saying about Kevin Knox. But Isiah, man, I thank you for the call as usual. I know we got some other people that want to call in. I seen.
Just tell all the Frank haters, man. Shh. Tell the Frank haters that.
Yeah, he just Tommy just said it. Tell all the Frank haters to be quiet.
All right, then, man, be good. Thank you, Tommy, man. Again, welcome to the family.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it.
Great to meet you, Isiah, man.
All right, bro.
All right, talk to you later, Isiah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got on the line Mr. Ron Cleveland. Ron, can you hear me, Ron?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Man. Sim, you know how I'm doing, man. Hey, if you're a baller, you watching what we watching, you got to be excited, man. Got to be excited.
Yep.
Knox look like he could potentially be a number one in the league. I know it's only 2 games. I ain't trying to get ahead of myself, but I can't deny the talent, the skill set of what he has. Mitchell Robinson, he got to continue to develop so far as his conditioning and his strength. That's going to come as he continues to get stronger, get in the weight room. But I love everything that I see from him, and even Frank tonight. Frank really, if Frank can play with that aggression all the time, man, I'm not worried about the point guard position because he has an intangible you can't teach, the ability to pass the ball. Frank is one of those point guards that will find you if you get open. And he will actually, it's something they call in the NFL as a quarterback, is throwing the player open. Frank has the ability to throw the ball to people and get them open when they're covered. And I love that as a point guard. I see it. You can't teach that. You can't teach that. And tonight, Alonzo Trey lost the game for us, man. I didn't think it was possible to have somebody that take worse shots than Tim Hardaway on our team. And that kid, he lost the game tonight. I didn't like the way he played in the first game neither. I don't like what I'm seeing out of him. I mean, he acting like he's the star of the team. You know what I mean? Play within the floor of the offense, get the ball to everybody. And we missed a lot of free throws tonight. I know it's a summer league, but, man, free throws, man, you got to make your free throws. You got to make them.
Yeah. Hey, I know that firsthand, Ron. I coach AAU. And listen, we've had games that we've lost because we've missed 11 free throws. There was a game, and this was a huge tournament. Tournament had 150 college scouts there. We played the team and we were pressing them because we always press right from the get-go. We press right from the jump. And we had the team shooken. They were shooken. And we turned the ball over about 5 straight times. Got fouled on every single one of those turnovers. And we missed every free throw. We had a chance to go up like 12-2. We missed every free throw from the beginning. And we ended up losing the game. We lost the game, I think, 8 or 9 points. And if we would have made those free throws, even if we made half of those free throws, the game would have been different coming down the stretch. It's summer league. We got young players.
You got to make your free throws, though. Because I mean, the habits you start off with, that'll actually carry over. If you don't nip that stuff now, you're gonna carry those habits over, and that's my fear. Like when I hear people talk about changing a player mindset, you know what I mean? Some things are ingrained. When you've played organized basketball to this point where these guys have gotten to, I mean, for some people, you are who you are. You can't change them. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
And so that's what I look at. But I'm going to tell you the thing that's most impressive about the Knicks right now is the defense. I'm watching them boys swarm, and it looks like they got more than 5 players on the court.
I'm with you.
Hey, think about the sim last year. What was our Achilles heel? We couldn't guard the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
People were shooting a lot of wide open. You can scratch that this year. That's not going to be a problem. And if it is a problem, somebody going to the bench. But man, hey, keep doing what you do. I know more people want to call in, man. The Knicks, we will be back. It ain't we will be back. We now back.
Okay, I'm with you, Ron.
Love it.
All right, man.
All right.
It, that's awesome.
Later.
Yeah.
He's right on that, man.
Yeah. And you know about Alonzo Trier, you know, I'm willing to, you know, let the guys let the coaching staff get to him and try to teach him a little bit. You know, coming in 2 games into the summer league, you know, you got some old habits that you've been, you know, that you're used to, or whatever it is. I'm willing to, you know, let it happen. Let the coaching staff get to him and see what they can do. And, you know, that's why he's a two-way player.
There's a lot of off the script stuff there, though, for me, the last 2 games, right? Or the first 2 games. You know, Ron, I think, hit the nail on the head. You know, I would agree with you as well. I certainly have him spend some time in Westchester and see how he can develop. I don't think that he's the best mix for Dotson and Ntilikina.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a backup point guard.
Right.
I do feel his performance tonight hurt them a lot. You know, that's not certainly to say that he doesn't have an opportunity and a chance to be a really terrific player in this league. But my sense is similar to what Ron was saying. He took some shots. They were up 4. They had a chance to go up more, and he pulled a quick 3 that he didn't make. And I feel like the Jazz came back down. Somebody, who was it? I'm sort of drawing a blank on who it was, but they made a 3, cut it to 1. I think that was a 6-point swing. You know, stuff like that. If you're up 4 to get to 2 possessions or even 3 possessions, I know the game is fast and possessions, you know, go very quickly. I just think in that particular spot, that was a terrible shot.
Yeah.
It was a terrible shot because it didn't go in. So, you know, I can't say it was the worst shot that I've ever seen. But, you know, stuff like that is, you learn from that. You learn from that stuff.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Hopefully.
So I got Tony Crowe on the line, and Tony Crowe is I mean, he from the beginning, from the time that we started. Yeah, he's been here. He actually came up with you might have seen the hashtag around Yo Black It's Time, because when I first started doing the show, I used the Nas New York State of Mind beat for my intro. And you know, in the song, you know, starts off Yo Black It's Time. And so
are you halftime or are you New York State of Mind?
I am New York State of Mind.
I'm halftime.
Yeah, halftime. I love both. I love both. You know.
I was walking between meetings. I had 2 great meetings. I was going into another one, and
Yo Black It's Time.
Stomping
Shout out
through
to the chat.
City, and halftime came on my iPhone.
I got a question for him real quick.
And I love New York State.
One second, Tony. I'm sorry. One second, Tony. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tommy.
For me, it's 1 and 1A, but I'm halftime ahead of New York State of Mind. But
yeah, because I seen that tweet. I seen that tweet where you said you were walking in between meetings and you was like, perfect song halftime. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. But you know, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah. Tony Crowe, what's going on, man? What's popping?
Yo Black It's Time. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to you, Sim. Shout out to Tommy. I got a quick question for him. Ask him what was the website that he used to write on a Knicks website probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer.
Knicksblog.com.
Knicksblog.com.
Okay, yeah. Well, when he left, man, it fell apart. I'm telling you, man. And I had a little grudge with him because he left. I didn't know where to find him to follow him.
I'm here.
But I caught back up with him, so you know I follow him now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He said he's here. He's here for you. He's here for you.
Tell him thank you. Tell him thank you.
Yeah, I missed the game, but I want to touch up on a few things. Ron Cleveland, absolutely right about Frank. He's a point guard. What he needs to do, he needs to just be aggressive. For his passing to work to maximum ability, he has to be a threat offensively first. So once he finds his spots that he can get to and know he can score from, that'll open up his passing, because he's still forcing a little bit of passing. You know, he's given up shots that he should be taking.
Yeah, and I think me and Tommy was talking about this earlier on Twitter, that I think, with Frank, a lot of people, telling him to shoot. But I agree with you. He does need to look for his shot. But I think what you have to do is work with him in practice, in film sessions. Let him see, where he can get his shots. And then when he gets in the game, just let him play. And maybe you have some games where you say, hey, Frank, tonight, I want you to go out and really look to score. But I feel like if you try to force him to just go out and score, just push him to go score, we'll get some bad plays, right? Some bad turnovers, some things, and you don't want to build bad habits.
And Fizz actually did a really good job.
To touch on, you know how I felt from Knox from the beginning.
One second, Tony.
I'm glad he's here.
I'm sorry. 1 second, Tony.
Highlights is looking good. I seen last game. He looked great. I really see KD potential in him. His shot looks good. His fluent to the basket, and he's powerful at the basket too. I didn't even know he was. I thought he was a little bit more finesse than aggression. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that in a young player. I mean, probably Shumpert was probably the closest one to it as far as going to the rim like that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I really love Mitchell. I think he's first round talent in the second round. Could absolutely be the steal of the draft. And then the undrafted kid, Lonzo, I think he's gonna benefit well in the G League. I think he's like a perfect 6-man. I think Fizdale even said it, like he sees Lou Williams in him. That's a perfect role for him. He's a scorer. Just like you don't want to change what people are. That's what the kid does. He knows how to put the ball in the basket. He's probably not well suited to be in the starting lineup for the simple fact, he can pass the ball, but that's not what he does. But to come off the bench and lead a second unit, I think that's a perfect role for him down the line. We got a great future, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let me stay on for a minute, Tony. Let me get because Tommy was responding to you with something. Yeah, Tommy, you want to go ahead?
So, Fizdale to me made the best point about Ntilikina. We'll talk about the Knox stuff right after that. But when Fizz sat in front of all the media guys and said, everybody has a vision for what they think he should be, talking about Ntilikina, that's the best line.
Yeah.
Like the vision is going to be his vision, starting with Frank's vision, and then certainly coaching staff has to to drive that forward. Is he a point guard? I think he's a point guard. I think he's a combination guard. I think he's a player that can play with 15 different types of players, and he doesn't need the ball to control the outcome of the game. Tonight he played his best offensive game scoring wise, and they lost. Last night he didn't play a great offensive game scoring wise, points wise, and they won.
Right.
So I think Knicks fans need to understand. People talk about positionless basketball, and by that it's who you can defend, not so much how you play offensively. Being able to play off the ball or on the ball is a real big skill. I think ball dominant point guards is a New York thing, and I think that's something that Knicks fans need to get out of. I don't think Kyrie Irving is a ball dominant point guard. I think Kyrie or Kemba, I think those players can play on and off the ball, but they just have the ability when shit gets tough to be able to make baskets. That doesn't make them ball dominant. That makes them have the ability to score when they need, the team needs a bucket, right? When LeBron needed a bucket, Kyrie got him a bucket, and did it a lot, right? How many times did he score 40 points in finals? As far as Knox, yeah, for sure. We talked about this earlier. For him to be able to put the ball behind his head and dunk on people was something that I was not expecting this early. So that's he makes great points, and they're both very. And you talk about those two players, Frank and Knox, both under the age of 20. That's some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, definitely, it sure is. Hey, Tony, I appreciate the call. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I know we got some other people that want to call in, but I think right now I'm gonna pause the calls and get to another topic with Tommy. But I appreciate the call, man, as usual.
I'm gonna hit you up after the show.
All right, definitely. Talk to you later.
All right,
man.
what, man?
Later. All right, Tommy, you were talking about the Frank and Dotson backcourt. Right, and how you really think those guys can play together. I do as well. I think defensively, those two are, man. I think it can be scary in the future for a lot of teams out there when you're looking at those two guys in the backcourt. Do you think in the future it gets to the point where those two guys could be the starting backcourt?
I don't know about starting backcourt. I know, at least in my mind, I feel that they can play meaningful minutes together, or at least maybe individually as well. I really, before they made the move to bring Trey Burke up last year, and before they made the Moutier trade, I wanted to see Dotson play minutes at the one. He played minutes at the one at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
He has that ability to handle the ball. He can beat guys off the dribble with the crossover. He's not I wouldn't say he's a guy who can break guys down off the dribble both sides. But he's certainly someone who I think is a nice two-way player who could also play off the ball, make shots off the catch. And when you pair him, I was really most excited about watching them again tonight. And as I started to get pumped up about it, and we talked about this, before the game, Dotson comes out and plays his worst game. He really did. I know he got hurt. I think he probably turned his ankle. I don't know if he's going to play in the next game. He may be shut down for the rest of the summer league.
Yeah.
But to me, he's a strong. He looks the part. He has all the skills. He's not Tim Hardaway in the sense that he can play fast in transition and catch and shoot and pull 3-pointers and do the things that Hardaway does. I'm not sure he can get 30 or 40. I think people knock on Hardaway. People need to go back and look at that Raptors game early on in the year, November at the Garden, when they came out in the third quarter and I think they outscored them. What was it, 38 to 8 or something? Obviously that was early in the season, but I think Hardaway has ability. Dotson, Ntilikina, to me, moving forward as they get older and grow, could be really nice rotation pieces in the backcourt.
Okay, and see, my thing with because that was going to be my next question. If you thought maybe they could be they could possibly be starters one day. My next question was, what about Hardaway? What do you think about Hardaway? See, I'm always up in the air with Hardaway, right? I think that he has the talent and he has the ability, and I think it's his basketball IQ and shot selection that hold him back.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of John Starks. I think there's, his NBA skill for sure is that he can catch the ball quickly and make it go up quickly, and from distance make it go in. That's having that quick trigger and be able to get that shot off is a skill. Not a lot of people understand. I think at the NBA level, getting shots off is actually hard, and if you can get shots off, it's a skill. Whether they are the right shots or whether they go in or not, is a different deal. But what he has the ability to do is to certainly get the ball off, especially in transition, especially from three. So he's, that modern backcourt type of player. But I agree. I think his shot selection is a problem, certainly in many instances. But how do you, as a coach, how do you rein in that skill, right? Yeah. It's almost like a pitcher who throws, or it's almost like a quarterback who has a really strong arm, who feels like he just, fit things into different windows that he, just keeps doing, can't necessarily hit them. Your brain's going to say, well, I see this and it's gone, Right. How do you coach that? How do you get in between that? How do you disrupt that? I don't know that answer.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what Fizz can do with Tim Hardaway. I don't know that Jeff Hornacek was the right guy to really coach and rein Tim Hardaway in. I think Fizdale maybe could be, just to be that can maybe relate to him, give him. I feel like Tim Hardaway needs someone that can really, really be structured with him, and kind of. I felt like Jeff Hornacek sometimes just let him go and do. And maybe he didn't. I don't know what was going on in the locker room or what was said.
I think he did. I think Hornacek he's a shooting guard. He's got that mentality,
right?
Like just let it go. In this day and age, we know Hardaway doesn't handle the ball. Like, you're not going to see him in pick and roll, right?
Right.
Which is interesting because his dad was as good a pick and roll point guard, and that can shoot threes and tough shots, and as a tough player. As we've seen, he was obviously a huge thorn in the Knicks side for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy Jr. does not have those skills. And it was interesting for me, again, as you're looking at Ntilikina, as you're looking at Moutier, as you're looking at Trey Burke, as you're looking at Dotson, as you're looking at all these guys, there was point guard minutes there, but never for Hardaway. So, and he's not a three. I got so sick and tired of watching Hardaway and Lee try to guard Tatum and Brown at the 2-3. Like, Lee and Hardaway are both two guards. They're pure two guards.
Right.
And, in this positionless, this is certainly going to be David Fizdale's challenge with those guys. How do you implement them into this roster and this rotation when you have Moutier, when you have Burke? You have a lot of two guards and you have a lot of point guards. What's the answer? That to me, I don't know if there is an answer at this point. I think that's everybody's gonna you're gonna hear a lot of that. Everybody's gonna have to fight it out and. In training camp, but they legit have 6, 7 1s and 2s, and I want to see the combo guys. I want to see Ntilikina and I want to see Dotson.
Yeah,
I want to see those guys who can actually do both.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to some of the guys that's in super chats. I know, if you're looking at it, you'll see some of the comments that are highlighted in blue. Mighty Knicks is giving me a few super chats, and he wants to ask you, are the Knicks a playoff team this year?
No.
There you have it, Marty.
Nope.
No, and I agree with you. I don't think they're a playoff team. Now, my stance has always been play the young guys, try to win every game, let the chips fall where they may. But because we're playing guys that are so young that just don't have the NBA experience and strength, you're probably going to lose. But put them out there and let them go.
And let me preface that no, and I agree with that 100% what you just said. I'll preface the no by saying unless they make a move for a player that elevates them into the playoffs. But I don't see that this year. Yeah. Right? I don't see this being let's push all the chips into the table, to the middle of the table for Kawhi. Unless it's they could. I'm not going to go this far. I sense there's a disconnect with Team Porzingis. I feel like that's actually something that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I don't think that current management is going to, buckle to whatever leverage that Team Porzingis tries to push, whether it's to the media, Kristaps has to get healthy. You heard Fizdale talk about it tonight. First and foremost, that needs to happen before anything else happens, before an extension, before a trade, before any sort of, what's going to push this franchise to the next level. I do believe that if you put the right point guard with Knox and Porzingis, if it's Kyrie, Kemba's probably a little too old at this stage, but you put Kyrie with those two and surround them with another draft pick, and you don't have to give up too much. That's a top 4
you said a top 4. You said a top 4,
top 3. You're hosting home playoff games that year.
Yeah.
And then for the next 5 years, you become right up there with Boston for the conference, right? That's what they're missing. And as long as Porzingis comes back healthy, they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think next year Porzingis resigns? I mean, I know you say, or do you think there's a chance he doesn't resign? Let's put it that way.
I don't think there's a chance he doesn't resign.
Okay.
I want to make sure I word that right. He's the only way he's not going to re-sign is if there's some sort of sign and trade. The Knicks, the beauty of the rookie contracts now is he's going to get the most from the Knicks and the most guaranteed.
Right.
And that's what he deserves. And then he has that super max, should he continue to progress. And that's unless, they trade him and Karl Towns becomes a bit, and some stuff that, right now nobody really knows about. Mm-hmm. Do they trade him for, again, is it Kawhi? Who knows? But to me, that right now, as it stands, as long as he can come back healthy, you would think that he's the guy that they want to build around. But listen, Phil Jackson made that pick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Mills and Scott Perry are not Phil Jackson. So, maybe they don't feel like he's the guy moving forward. I feel like there is a disconnect. I feel like certainly Team Porzingis wants to sign that big contract.
Right.
But smart money and good business is come back, show us you're healthy, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm hoping, Steve Mills, Scott Perry, they always, especially Steve Mills, is saying that they've repaired the relationship and they're really working towards making it right. Hopefully they can make it right. I don't know if Porzingis is the guy, but he's 22 years old. You have to see, and when he's coming back, see how he responds coming back off the injury.
Here's the question, or here's the answer in my mind with that, right? Who moves the needle, right? Does he move the needle? Why did Donovan Mitchell move the needle for the Jazz? Was it him, or was it that combination of, Rubio and dropping 25 pounds? And, everybody can look at Mitchell, and no bigger, this, I feel like, there was no bigger fan of Mitchell going into that draft. Just because I've known him, known of him for a very, very long time, knows agents and such. Is Porzingis the guy that moves that needle? And when I watched those games early last year without Melo, Boston swallowed him up. Toronto on the road swallowed him up, but then they come back home. They beat Toronto. He had just monster games where he did move the needle, and he was on the verge of being. Well, he was an all-star, was he not?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he made the all-star team
as a reserve, right? But he moving. There was that needle, and with no, Jared Jack played his. What off, right?
Yeah.
For that first half. So let's say he was a half of an NBA point guard back, to start the season. They really did. I thought Porzingis had that ability to move the needle. His best games were against Giannis, and the irony was that he got hurt against Giannis.
Right.
Dunking on him. Let's be real, that happened. So can he continue to move? Can he come back and then continue to move the needle with the help of Knox? With the help of a point guard and some other young pieces? I think the answer is yes at 22. But that's a major injury to come back from.
Yeah.
And invest in moving forward.
Right. We were talking about Troy Williams earlier. The Knicks, do they have him signed for this year? I don't remember last year if they signed him for this year.
He is on the roster. I believe that he has a partial.
Okay.
I don't believe that he has a full guarantee, but we'll look at it right now.
Yeah, let's see. So I see 1.5 million for 2018-19.
So he's on the roster. And then they've got the qualifying offer. So he was a second round pick. So it's very similar to the situation with Robinson. Right. So he's under contract for this upcoming year at basically the vet minimum without a two-way. And so the two-ways are basically for the second round picks or the non-drafted free agents.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been in the league 3 years now.
Right, that's right.
So he's and the two-ways are just recent.
Right.
So he didn't. I don't believe he had a two-way. I think his first contract was. I think Houston signed him for some sort of guarantee, and then he ended up. The Knicks ended up picking him up at. Scott Perry's been incredible with bringing in the talent at such a very small number.
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah, he's been beating the bushes and plucking guys from almost out of nowhere, it seems like, and bringing guys in. He took the chance on Trey Burke, and at least for half the season last year that worked out. We'll see. What I'm really interested to see with Trey Burke, and I'll get back to Troy because I had another question about Troy, but what I'm interested to see is next year if he's the starter, if he ends up being the starter. And teams are going to, now he's there from the beginning of the season. Teams will be able to adjust, right, to what Trey Burke does and, how he plays. Similar to, the first 20 games of the season, 20-some or whatever it was of the season, the Knicks looked like they could possibly compete for a playoff spot. And then teams begin to scheme for what the Knicks do, right? Because, it was kind of a new team. Melo there. It was kind of new. You got to see what they can do. And then you start to see the team a second and third time, and they start to plan for all of your, and they make adjustments. The same thing will happen with Trey Burke, and I want to see, will he be able to respond to the adjustments that teams are going to make playing against him? He put up, very good numbers at the end of last year, and I think what's really going to, for me at least, cement the fact that he's arrived as the player that maybe many people thought he could be is if he can make those adjustments and still put up those numbers. What do you think about Trey Burke? Do you think I don't think the style of basketball that Fizdale wants to play, I feel that defensively you've got to have the length to be able to switch. If you're going to play this, positionless style of game, you've got to have, like Frank is 6'6", maybe 6'7", that can switch onto a 2 and a 3, because if you're going to play in transition defensively, if you're going to be, be able to transition to defense, you're going to have to, with the way the game is played, you're going to have to be able to switch off on the players, and players are just long, and Trey is small.
So let's compare him to the other Trey, right? Trey Young.
Yeah.
And to me, are those players obsolete in this league? I don't believe so. But I don't think Trey Burke is the 3-point shooter that Trey Young is. Does he give you enough offensively from what he takes away from you defensively? Does Trey Burke and Tim Hardaway combined give you the offense and then whatever defense on the other side to make you a competitive NBA caliber level team? To me, the answer is no. I mean, I love the Trey Burke story. I've never been a Trey Burke guy. This year I was certainly much more positive. But when he first came into the league, I'm like, I just don't see it. And the same way that I feel for Trey Young, I don't see it. I see it with Sexton. I saw it I never saw it with Malik Monk last year. I saw it with Fox. I certainly saw it with Mitchell. I just don't see it with Burke, but he's apparently, put himself in a situation where he's he's living his best life. He's in the best shape. Mm-hmm. He's certainly, I don't put too much stock into the end of the year stuff last year. Because, that's in the midst of tankathon.
Right.
So I will be interested to see, sort of what he brings, and if he wants to just take the starting quarterback role. But it's all about who you pair him with, in my opinion. I really do. I feel much more comfortable if Dotson can just show a little bit more. Not that Dotson's going to start, but a rotation of, Ntilikina, Hardaway, Dotson, more so than Burke, Moutier, Hardaway, Ntilikina. But at the same time, it's, what are the goals? What are the expectations? If you want to get the most, if you want to try to make a trade, you could trade Moutier. You don't have to make a commitment moving forward. Where does that leave Courtney Lee? You assume Hardaway is going to be on the books. But as far as it relates to Burke, is he the guy that's going to take 35? Is he going to be playing 35 minutes a game at the one?
Right.
I just don't see him being a starting quarterback in the NBA, right? And I use starting quarterback with the NFL analogy because you need someone that's going to play 30 to 35 minutes. Jared Jack played 30 minutes and burnt out, but he was a 25-minute player per game last year, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you think Ntilikina you would assume that he's not going to be a 30-minute per game player. So is Burke, is his legs and his body ready to handle 30 plus? Is Moutier? Moutier should be at this stage, but are you going to watch him flail around the floor and try to draw a foul and end up under the basket 5 times a game, and then that leads to layups on the other end? Yeah. That's the stuff that needs to be figured out. But I think if you're going to list it, Ntilikina needs, I think, in my mind, is 1 in terms of two-way. Burke 2, Moutier, Dotson. I almost want to put Dotson ahead of Moutier. There.
Yeah, and see with Burke, I just don't think that he's the kind of guy that can really captain, like you're saying. You're saying quarterback that can just captain the offense. Yeah, I look at him long term for this team. If he stays with the team long term, could be a 6-man that can come in and light it up. Now, a question that we have from, and I think you kind of answered it. A question that we have from the chat: do you think Frank Ntilikina is a starting point guard in the league?
Point guard or a starter?
Or a starter, yeah.
I mean, I feel like he certainly is a starter. I mean, Trey Burke could be a starter, point guard, but how many games are you winning?
Yeah. Right.
What's the hyperbole in my mind there? Or at least what's the point, right? I'd rather Ntilikina come off the bench on a team that wins 50 games than Trey Burke being a starter in the league winning 22 games, mm-hmm. right? Or Moutier, being similar. I think Ntilikina ultimately could be a starting point guard in a few years. I don't know if he's going to be a starting point guard in the next 2 years, but I certainly am very comfortable having him in the rotation of a team that can be certainly a playoff team, because he can guard 4 positions.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that's the stuff that people, I think, don't understand enough. And I know you do. It's wouldn't you rather have a guy that can guard 4 spots and not have a definition or definitive offensive spot?
Right.
Who can knock down shots off the ball, who could play in pick and roll, who could set screens off the ball and do stuff like that, and then guard 4 positions and be really good in transition. Those are the guys you want, more so than the guy who can just be a ball dominant, guard 1 spot, and be, 15 and 6.
Right.
But shoot 40% from the field and 30% from 3.
Exactly.
I don't want those guys on my team.
Yeah, and with Frank, maybe right now, he's got to work on his offensive game, but in the long run, I don't think he's going to hurt you offensively either. I think he'll be able to knock down open shots. I think he'll get to the point where he can, not be, he doesn't have to be Kobe Bryant, but can create a shot when you need him to create a shot.
Off the ball when he's open, knock down the open shot for sure, but never take shots that are going to ultimately be turnovers, right? Exactly. Long rebounds and then transition dunks and threes.
Right.
And Frank's not that guy. Frank does not take bad shots.
Yeah.
Again, we said this earlier. Trey Young took 5 terrible shots yesterday. He'll take 5 to 8 awful. Dennis Smith, those guys, those players take and miss a lot of really bad shots. Their transition defense, even Steph Curry to a degree, those teams have to be prepared for those long runouts off of the misses.
Yeah.
Sure you make, but you're not going to make 6 or 7 threes every single game.
Right.
And if you take 20 shots at the point guard position, you're going to take 6 or 7 bad shots.
Mm-hmm.
Frank doesn't do that. And I like that.
And yeah, me too. I like that as well. I like that he's, takes smart shot. He's selective, with what shots he takes. I just respect that. I played point guard. I understand it. I respect that in a point guard. So how we doing on time for you, Tommy? I'm
good, man. I got about 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Before I get kicked out of my house.
All right. So Troy Williams, we went all the way around it, but do you think he ends up being with the team?
I love the comments, by the way. The comments are on fire.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun.
Do you think he ends up being on the team long term?
I think that he'll be on the team this year. I was saying this earlier today. They got to find minutes for him, no doubt. Lance Thomas is under contract. I think as an organization, they want to make sure that they have veterans. They don't just have all young players.
Right.
So you think Lance is going to certainly be on the team. Noah for the foreseeable future. Lee, I think, is on his way out. I think everybody understands that. That's been the case for a long time. They're just looking for the right deal.
Yeah.
I think what's going to be interesting is teams understand that they want to get rid of Lee. So now you're moving into sort of that 2010 territory with Jared Jeffries, where you're sort of like, you want to get this guy off the books. You have to give up a first round pick for him. Who's the blockbuster trade that they're going to be making that deal for, centered around Lee and adding a first round pick. I think Jordan Hill went in that McGrady trade, right? So you're not trading Kevin Knox. That's not happening. You're not trading Ntilikina. Definitely not. But I think teams understand probably that the Knicks want to move that salary in Lee, $12 million. So they may have to give up a future first rounder for that, but or maybe a second rounder. But as it relates to Troy Williams, he's on the books. So, and he's gonna find his way into the lineup. When you look at him, I forget who it was on the Hawks last night, but it got really mad when Williams got on the ground for loose ball that he didn't get on the ground.
Yeah. Right.
And he literally screamed out loud that it was BS when it's like, the ball's at your feet, dude. Like, just get on the ground for it.
Right.
This guy Williams, he's stuff like that's going to make sure that he finds his way on the floor. And again, does that mean Lance stays or goes to the bench or, is in a mentorship role or whatever? We'll see. But when you have Knox and you have Isiah and Williams, those are transition players.
Yeah. And
what they're trying to do certainly is conducive to Williams' skill set. So I think he'll be part of this moving forward.
Okay, good. Well, Tommy, I know it's late. You said you had about 4 minutes. So I don't want you to get kicked out of the house. I don't want you to get kicked out, but
I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah, love to have you back. And anytime if I don't know anytime if you want me to come on, I'd love to come on the podcast.
Oh, for sure. No, that's going to happen. No, that's definitely going to happen. No doubt.
Yeah. So if you want, just let everybody know, when they can find the podcast, where they can find the podcast, and I'll make sure I put a link in the description and everything.
Well, as editor emeritus of thenixblog.com, always go to sny.tv. And the Knicks, you can always type in thenixblog.com. It'll take you to the Knicks site on SNY. That was, I also have a son, but that's certainly one of my babies for sure. And I think it was Ron who mentioned remembering that back in the day. It still exists, so check that out. But also patreon.com/Tommy Dee, patreon.com/TOMMYDEE. And the X's and O's podcast, you can find that there, and also on SoundCloud. But we offer it for $1 a month, which we spend or donate a lot of the donations to charity, various charities, because I believe fully in paying it forward, as always. And at Thomas C. DEE on Twitter.
Okay.
I've been known to be on Twitter. I don't know if you know
that. Right.
As you do too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And for sure, we'll have you on the podcast sooner before later. We'll set that up right after this. All
right, that sounds great. I'd love to. Hey, Tommy, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure. I'm gonna continue on and talk to everyone in the chat for about a half an hour more. But it was a pleasure. I can't wait to have you on again and join you on your podcast.
Pleasure was all here. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Keep it moving forward, and keep up the awesomeness. And we'll talk real soon.
Appreciate it. All right, thanks, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you later. Peace, man.
You got it.
All right, Knicks fans. Thank you for staying on with us. I'm still on. I'm not getting off. That was Tommy Dee. I really want to thank Tommy Dee for checking us out, joining the chat, joining the show. It was great to have him on. I'm looking forward to joining him on his podcast. I know we didn't get a chance for everyone to call in, but I'm sure people want to call in and have a few things to say. We got to work on patching it through so everyone can hear each other when we have a guest on, because we got a couple of more guests coming up. But let's get to some of these calls. On the line, I got Asim on the line. What's poppin', man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I've been a little busy with my daughter for the past couple of days. We went to Busch Gardens and everything else. That's why you haven't heard from me.
Oh, you know what? That's always number one, man. It's always number one.
Yep.
You know, man. Always number one.
And I know. I remember you were saying you had your daughter's birthday, and we got something else in common because both our daughters' birthdays around the same time.
Okay. Yeah. My daughter's birthday was June 15th. We had a big party, 100 people there. It was a great party. It was fun, real good. Yeah. So what's popping with you, man? How you feeling about Summer League so far?
I'm liking it. I knew what Frank could do. I don't know if I want to call him a pure point guard, but he's definitely the epitome when it comes to positionless basketball. Because just like what Tommy Dee said, he could play. Tommy Dee said he could guard 4 positions. I believe he could guard maybe 3 positions. That fourth one, that power forward position, maybe a little bit too much for him. But he's the epitome of positionless basketball. Alonzo Tear, I don't know what's going on with him. He needs to get his foot underneath him, but I'm liking everything else, and I read something too. It has something to do with Beasley and some other players that felt like they weren't getting reached out by the Knicks. Some reporters believe that the Knicks want to start all over with nothing but young guys, and maybe that's something that I don't know. Did you read? Are you aware of what article I'm talking about?
No, I'm not sure of that article there.
Okay, I can't exactly remember what it was, but it had some merit to it because Beasley. There were some reports that Beasley wasn't reached out to as far as bringing him back. The same thing for Kyle O'Quinn. So
right. Now I did read that about Beasley not, they didn't reach out to Beasley to bring him back. I did read that.
Okay.
Yeah. And my thing about that is, listen, Fizdale, he knows what he has in Beasley, right? He knows who Beasley is,
Yeah.
He's had him. He had him in Miami. Maybe he just wants no parts of Beasley.
You know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. If the Knicks haven't reached out to you by now, knowing what the situation is, knowing that they need some veterans to come back to help some of these young guys, that's probably what the case is. The fact that they went out and they got Mario, that says a lot right there.
Right.
The fact that they drafted Mitchell Robinson, that says a lot about KO. I think he was great for the team. There was just some things that that did concern me about him. I don't think he put in maximum effort at times.
Yeah. Now, see, my thing with KO, I think what went on with all right, KO opted out.
Yep.
And then once he opted out, the Knicks, they moved forward and they went ahead and they signed Hezonja. And I think once they signed Hezonja, they didn't have enough money. They wouldn't have been able to pay KO, or they weren't going to be willing to pay KO, more than that $4.5 million, I don't think. Right. And then they gave Hezonja a portion of their mid-level exception. So there was only about $3.5 million of that left. Now, I don't know exactly, I don't know all the numbers, how they're working there. Knicks Film School is going to be on in a couple of weeks, and he'll be able to break it down for us a little bit better. But, KO kind of Tamika said it best right here. KO made a mistake. He should have just opted in.
Yeah, see, that's exactly. See, I was about to ask about that. See, the numbers are kind of funny when it comes to the math, but we didn't renounce our rights to him, so we still could have brought him back. We would have paid a little bit more. We would have paid the taxes or whatever the case may be, the penalty for that. But he still could have came back. I think what happened was he underestimated the market. He thought he could get a multi-year deal, which this wasn't a year, and we know that next year would have been a year for him, and he would have gotten one as well. All he had to do was opt back in and play his heart out, which he would have done, and he could. I believe he could have got at least a $10-15 million a year. And somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I misjudged the market for him. I thought he would get more money. But I'll say what he did do well, I think, is that he signed for 1 year, and then next year the market's going to be better, right? There's going to be way more money into the market. A lot of people are freeing up, trying to clear up cap space so that they can be players in the market next year. You know what I mean? So I think that he'll probably do better 1 year. So he signed for 1 year with Indiana. He'll be able to hit the market next year. He'll make some more money next year.
As a matter of fact, he lost money with Indiana. I think he left like $250,000 on the table with us.
He might have. He might have left $250,000 on the table. Yeah, because I think he signed for 4.5 with Indiana. I don't know how taxes and stuff like that make it work out. So maybe he saved a little bit of money in taxes. Who knows? Yeah, but he might have lost a little bit. Yeah,
and I wanted to say something about these young guys. It's only been 2 games. It's only been 2 games. Mm-hmm. Frank has been playing very well. We already knew what we had on Frank. We knew it. But I think he is, as far as what he's doing, he's pushing the ball. He's going to find you. My man, I keep forgetting his name. The one how he explained how he could throw a person open. That's a perfect example of him being a quarterback. And I believe, and I listened to Tommy Dee, and it was some great information from him. And I believe he is a starter. I don't know if he could be a starting point guard, but he's definitely a starter somewhere. When a guy could defend 3 or 4 different positions, he's definitely a starter. I was hoping to get online because I want to ask him a question. My question is, we already know, because he explained it. Lee, we already know Lee's probably out. It's going to get traded sometime. But Tim Hardaway Jr., he's a pure 2. Now my problem is, he's a pure 2. He's a little erratic. You said that he's a little erratic with his shots. His decision making and everything else. So, and Tommy Lee said he does have a skill. Putting up the shot. That's no problem. But what about defending?
Yeah, and I mean, you know,
What does he put? I mean, how like I mean, does he end up becoming a sixth man, making $18 million a month?
I don't know. We'll see, man. Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. You know, let's see if Fizz. I mean, you know, my stance on him. I'm not the biggest Tim Hardaway fan. Everyone knows that. But you know, we'll see if Fizdale can pull something out of him. Hey, Sim, appreciate the call. Sorry I couldn't get you on with while he was on. You know what I'm saying? But I know he had a lot of things he wanted to get out, so we really only had enough time for a few calls. But he'll be back on.
Okay, y'all be looking for him.
He'll be back on, and listen, we got a few guests. We got a guest coming up on. We got a guest coming up Tuesday. We got one next Thursday. We got one next Sunday. So we got some people coming up.
All right, I'm back. So I don't have fun with my daughter this summer, so I'm back now.
Okay, sound good, man. Appreciate the call, bro.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking it as usual.
Definitely, peace, man.
Peace.
Yeah, Tommy Dee. I'm glad Tommy Dee could come through. I got the Prince on the line. What's poppin', man?
Oh, man, what's going on, Sam?
I'm chilling, man. How you feel?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I've been trying to get into the chat, man. I see everything is really picking up steam. I can't wait till the season kick off.
Yeah, picking up a little bit of speed. We got some things in the works too that's gonna help it pick up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got some things in the works. You know what I mean? So
I like your cadence a little bit better. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. I like the cadence of how you run things, but it was still cool just to have somebody different on there. But from the summer league, just to jump into that real quick, because I know I'm short on time. But man, I like the flow. We played as a team. They fought together. Like I said, I think offensively, if a couple of cats, like I know, you know, Trey, he's supposed to score. He's a scorer, but hey, man, in the game of basketball, a better shot is a better shot. Even if you are a scorer, pass the ball, swing it around, and maybe you'll get it back. And I think Dotson, that was his problem tonight too. I think his green light, he was a little just too antsy with his shot, just kind of basically forcing it to me. What you think?
You know, it's hard. It's just hard to say because of summer league, and I think when you're looking at the players, like you seen a totally different Frank tonight, right? He came out aggressive, came out really looking to shoot the ball, and it's because you know you played the first summer league game, and then you know you have a little walkthrough before the next summer league game, and coaches are saying, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to try this. I want you to try this." They're doing some experimentation. You know, and then telling players to experiment doing different things. So it's hard to say. It really is hard to say because in that, you know, these are like scrimmages. You know, if you ever coached a team, when you scrimmage, you try things out and you try to put players in this situation or this position. You know, you experiment. You know, you might experiment. You might say, Knox, you run the one, right? Just to experiment and see. And get a glimpse of some things that could happen. You might say, Knox, you and Robinson run a high screen and roll just to see if it can work. Can Knox do it?
Right? And that looked real good. That looked amazing. That 1-5 split that they ran with them two, Knox just got to look for the lob. If he looks for the lob on that, that's an easy bucket every time. And it'll make his drive to the basket that much more easier. Because I think when he was going off of that on that left side, he was forcing that runner instead of just throwing the lob to Mitchell and getting that quick bang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that. It was a couple times. He got a foul on it. They gave him a good foul. But what I was saying is that was the same shot he would pull in Kentucky, and he could get that off over, you know, those smaller guys and less athletic guys in college who couldn't contest that. But tonight you've seen guys who was on his hip, on his arm, so he couldn't get that floater much like he wanted to. But I think I seen that part of his game too. Once he starts to slow that down and either make a pivot there, turn around, you know, and something else instead of just forcing that runner, man, dude's gonna be putting up 30 a game.
Yeah. Hey, the Prince, man, I appreciate the call. Definitely. You know, make sure you check out Tommy Dee. his information is going to be in the description.
Will do.
Make sure you come back on what's today?
Sunday.
We're coming
Sunday,
into Monday, so on Tuesday, and just so that everybody has an idea who's coming on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're gonna have Harris Rubenstein on the show. Harris Rubenstein is he's the host of Chat Sports. Some of you may have been on Chat Sports before. It's a YouTube channel, popular YouTube channel. They had great coverage of free agency. So definitely make sure you check out Chat Sports and join us on Tuesday when Harris Rubenstein is going to be live with us. All right. So the Prince, I appreciate it. I know I got some people that want to get on.
Keep it up, Sim, man. Hey, shout out to Chat, man. Everybody, let's keep this positive energy going up into the new season. Hey, man, I appreciate it, Sim. Keep doing your thing, brother.
All right,
man.
bro. Peace, man. Peace.
Peace.
Okay, I got Vico. Vico, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's going on with you, man? How you feeling? How you feeling, Vico?
It was a long time that I couldn't get on.
Yeah, long time. We got Vico from Stroudsburg.
Sorry?
I said we got you. You from Stroudsburg, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got Vico from Stroudsburg, ladies and gentlemen. Went to high school. He went to high school with Frank Ntilikina. Talk to us a little bit. How you feeling? What you thinking, man?
I'm really excited about the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
I see some highlights from Kevin Knox, Frank, and Mitchell Robinson. And I really think that we have a pretty interesting young core. But it's, as usual, we have to be careful about what we will see, and make sure to be patient with the guys on the court, because I think that it's really different when you compare Summer League and NBA, obviously. But I really think that we have a really good thing to expect from this young core. So
okay, yeah, I think so too, man. We have a great young core, and I think it's a core that's going to. A lot of these guys are going to be with us for a while. I truly believe that. I think they're going to be with us for a little while, man. How are people over there in Stroudsburg feeling about Frank?
In Strasbourg, he's like, the son of all the people here. So many people are behind him and support him. But they look at the NBA. They look at the NBA with also a critic spirit.
Uh-huh.
So when Frank did something wrong, they will say it. They will say that he was kind of weak this game, but if he have a breakout game, you can make sure that everybody will be behind him.
Yeah.
And I have there is something that I don't understand, is why the people in USA think that Frank is not a real point guard, because part of it is this. There's such a big difference in the style of play between the U.S. and European ball. In the U.S., the way that it is now in the U.S., point guards, the point guard position has changed, right? So point guards are now expected to be more scoring guards.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you know, Frank, he's grown up with a European background. He plays European basketball where you've been taught to be a distributor. It's more of a team game. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just now that he's here, people expect him and they see the potential that he has to be able to penetrate, get to the basket, maybe play a little bit more of a one-on-one game, but he's still learning how to do it. You know, and I think that's the biggest issue. You know, that really is the biggest thing.
Okay.
You know, it's just a difference in the way that ball is played in the U.S. and the way that it's played in Europe.
But even when you consider the way the game is now, I really think that you still need some playmaking abilities. And on the court, besides Frank and sometimes Trey Burke, I don't see anyone that could do it, each game.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I think that scoring is important. You know, don't get me wrong, but I really think that point guard situation is more than score. You know.
Yeah.
Even if it's really important because Frank is like an all-around player, can defend on multiple positions. I don't want to enumerate all these qualities, but he can do many things. So we just have to figure out how to use these qualities, and I think that if we put him in a shooting guard position, he can play this position, for some games. I don't know, because for some reason, but because, for example, the matchup will be interesting. But I think that the post, which will be a better fit for him, is the point guard position, and he will be able to exploit more his abilities. So,
right. Hey, Vico, I thank Vico. Vico, I thank you for the call. And let me get back to Vico right quick.
Which will be
Vico, I guess Vico's off. Vico, I apologize. You got cut off. I thank you for the call. I appreciate the call. Next, we got James. James, are you here?
You.
James, what's poppin', man? How you feeling?
Hey, Mr. Ross, how you doing, man? I'm feeling good about these Knicks, man.
Yes, sir, man. I'm feeling real good about the Knicks. Just liking what I see.
Sorry?
I said I'm feeling really good, like what I see. Really liking what I see.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I was watching the game today, and one thing I like is Knox is he's fairly aggressive. I love his aggressiveness. The only thing I'll say is because since the NBA is a little on the, they still give it to the superstars during the regular season. I think one thing with Knox, and I think he has it in him, is that right? And then he does that thing where he keeps the ball above him and the defender's head kind of, and tries to force it to the basket. And I saw today a few fouls they gave to him, and a few fouls I'm like, all right, they didn't give it to him, obviously. So obviously it wasn't a foul. And I think that he has to learn how to trust that jumper, man. Like when you're driving, so many guys, they lean on him. If you see in Kentucky, a lot of times they lean on him. You can just stop and then pull back, and you got a clear shot. And I mean, it's nitpicky. Look, I let the kid play, whatever, but I just think that if he can get that into his arsenal where, look, they got to respect him stopping and shooting, or they got to respect him driving to the basket, I think he'd be a lot more dangerous. But I like, I'm not even complaining. I like what I see from the kid. I just, hope he gets a little bit more in his arsenal. Another thing is that kid, Mitchell Robinson, goodness gracious, man. Yeah. When they said he's an athletic freak, I mean, I understand it's summer league, but goodness, man, if he could be that good on the offensive end with regards to rebounding. If he could do that night in, night out, and just save opportunities for us, or save the ball for us, I mean, he could be huge. Like, imagine, I guess, a Cantor with less refined offensive skills, but way better defensive skills. And I mean, in this NBA, if Mitchell can shoot 33% from the three, rookie, I mean, that's a lot to ask for. But they say they are developing his three-point shot. If he could develop that shot with this team, I mean, he could be scary. I mean, there's just a few plays I saw during the summer league today. I'm just like, this guy he's
he's still very raw. You know what I mean? He's raw, that's okay. That's good. That's cool. He's raw. He's got to get some strength. You see, he got pounded a couple times down low.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think he has the ability to be good, man. He has the potential. Definitely has the potential. He's got to build up some strength. He's got to get his endurance. He hasn't played basketball, 5-on-5 basketball in a year and a half. And you can see it sometimes out there. He's huffing and puffing a little bit, but that's okay. For the most part, he looks really, really good.
The person who I think, I don't know, it's 2 games, so I can't really say, but I didn't see a lot of tired, I guess lack of energy from Mr. Knox, man. Whatever he did during the summer to build up his stamina and energy, man, I guess it worked. Maybe he went to the LeBron thing in Miami too.
I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? He's heard some of the backlash about maybe his, not really his work ethic, but his drive, his energy, I think he's heard some of that, so he wants to get out there and prove everyone wrong. Yeah.
I love it.
Hey,
I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, James, I'm gonna let you go. I know I got some people on hold.
All right, definitely.
All right, but I definitely appreciate the call. Make sure you come back with us on Tuesday night.
Of course, man. See you, man.
Peace, man. Peace. On the call, I got Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg on the call.
How you doing, Simeon?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
Oh, good, man. I'm excited to finally get on here, man. I was so excited to see that you guys had a YouTube video of Knicks basketball. It's so exciting. I'm from Texas, so you imagine I don't get a lot of Knicks.
So, come back. You come back with us, Nate Dogg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. The video kind of went off a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I was just saying I'm from Texas, and it's nice to hear some New York Knicks basketball talk, even though down here it's probably more Spurs than anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so what are you thinking about Summer League, man? How you feeling about Summer League?
Man, I was really impressed with the way they were playing. The first game, I mean, if you watch the first 5 minutes of the game, I mean, they were playing great defense, 3-point stance, hands in the air. I mean, when was the last time we saw the Knicks play good defense? I mean, it was just a blessing to see. And I get it. A lot of these players are probably not going to be on the team, but just to see the defensive ability and the want to play defense, it was spectacular. I think Knicks fans were just so excited because they can imagine that what Fizdale's going to do with some of these other players that don't necessarily play good defense, but hopefully will buy into it.
Right. Just looking at, I'm looking at the way that they're playing, the energy that they're playing with. They're playing with a lot of fire, a lot of desire.
Absolutely.
But you know what? They started the season that way last year. We'll see if they can maintain it. From the way that, from what Fizdale is saying, he's like, everyone's got to work. If they want to start, they got to work for that starting position.
Exactly.
Right?
I love it.
It's not just going to be given to you. Even Tim Hardaway, who's making the most money on the team, is not just going to be given to you. And, you got to love that. You got to love that because he's building that culture.
I'll go on a long shot here and say that if Hardaway and Cantor do not play defense, they will not be playing in the fourth quarter. Just like Cantor didn't play a lot in the fourth quarter last year, I could see Tim Hardaway being that same way because you got guys like Troy Williams, Hazonia has been known to have some flashes of defense. I mean, you could put Knox at the 3. I mean, you got so many versatile players. You could even play Frank at the 3 if you wanted to put Moody at the 2 or Burke at the 1. I mean, Fizdale's going to have these creative lineups. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Just from a defensive standpoint.
Definitely.
I want to say one thing about Frank Ntilikina, man, because, I mean, this guy, God bless his heart. He's only 19 years old, probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet or talk to. I mean, he's getting such a tough situation. And I'll say this, everybody's trying to think what he can be. Let's talk about what he is. Okay. He's a top point guard. He is one of the best point guards in the pick and roll in the NBA. We're not talking summer league. We're talking in the NBA. That's impressive.
Are you talking defensively or are you talking offensively?
Defensively, yeah. Defensively, no. Defensively, he's the best pick and roll defender. I think I read an article about that. At 19 years old, that's impressive.
It is. That's impressive.
On top of that, he's unselfish. How many point guards in the NBA are unselfish nowadays?
Right.
I mean, they look for their shot. Frank's not looking for that. Frank's trying to set up people. Yeah, he makes some crazy passes sometimes, and that could be a little frustrating, but he's only 19. He's going to learn. And I think Fizdale sees him as a project and says, you know what, I'm going to mold you into what I want you to become. I mean, a 6'7" defender that can pass the ball, hey, I'll take it, man. And you saw some offensive flashes today. That's what he can do.
Yeah.
I mean, but people just need to chill out, man. I mean, he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, it's New York. People are impatient. They want a star right away, which is one of the reasons why the thing has been out there to say you can't rebuild in New York, but you can. Yeah. And we just got to be patient, like you're saying. Yeah, be patient with the kid. He'll get there. He'll get there, and he showed some flashes tonight of some things that he can do. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Hey, Nate, I got another guy on hold.
Okay. Right, I just got one more question. Yep, just one more question. KD signed a 2-year deal. Do you think, crazy thing to think about, do you think he could possibly sign with the Knicks in 2 years with a healthy Kristaps, with an up-and-coming Ntilikina, with Knox as a stud as he is now? Do you think that's a possibility that he could join this team in New York and win him and get him to a championship?
I don't know. Didn't he sign? But he has an opt-out after next year, doesn't he?
I believe so. Yes. So right. what I'm saying is he's going to be an attractive piece, and I think the New York's quietly looking for a possibility to lure him to New York, because if he wants to win by himself, he'll have KP, he'll have Ntilikina, he'll have Knox. It's going to make it a very attractive team. I think he does want to leave Golden State. So
right. My thing with KD, my thing with KD is you have Knox, right? Mm-hmm. Where does I don't want to say where does KD play, because if you get KD, you're gonna play KD. But how does that work between KD, Knox, and KP?
Well, I think maybe
unless KP is playing the 5. Right?
Yeah, KP would have to play the 5. Durant or Knox plays the small ball 4, and maybe Fizdale likes length, so I don't think he would be. He would find a way to do that. But I'm just throwing it out there because I think Knicks fans would be welcome open arms if KD decided to take his talents to New York. So
I'm sure they would. I'm not sure KD can handle the pressure in New York, though. I'll say that.
That is true. We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I don't know if he can handle that pressure in New York. Hey, I appreciate the call, Nate.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you for getting me on, man.
Definitely.
This is my first time, but won't be my last.
All right.
All right. You keep doing what you're doing. Take care.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
I'm sure they would. I'm not
All
sure.
Right. Mark, can you turn that down in the back?
Man, I'm out here getting boxed out, man.
What's popping? What's going on with you, man?
Yo, listen, man, I'm out here getting boxed out. What's good, man? What's good?
Hey, man.
Yo,
got to get your box out skills up, man.
My hand be right there on that button, but people just beat me to it like they road runner. But anyway, let me get to one quick point. This is what the Knicks need to do with Frank. What I saw tonight. No one saw this. No one brought it up. I will put Frank into the post for him to make quicker decisions, for him to be more aggressive. Because he in the beginning of the game he went into the paint and the 2 post-ups on the point guard, and he made quick decisions. Because I believe if you give him time, he's timid. He's timid when he's up top. I think when you put him into the post a little bit, he'll make quicker decisions offensively.
Okay.
I don't think people seen it, but if you're watching him in the beginning of the game, he was making quick decisions when he's in the post.
Yeah, and listen, this was the first time that I've ever really seen him in the post, and I think he did very, very well in the post.
That was my highlight tonight.
Yeah, there was someone, I don't remember who it was, someone who sent me a tweet about Frank playing in the post. And
he on the post.
And then there was someone else who maybe called up and was talking about Frank playing in the post and kind of doing like LeBron. Not, of course, he's not LeBron James, but kind of doing like LeBron would do in the post. You got the ball in the post, and then you're looking for cutters, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It could happen with him.
Be in the post, like you put him there just to set up an offense and rely on him to make a quick decision because he's a big guard. And by the way he posts tonight, he can post.
Yeah. I was surprised by it. I was surprised to see him down there, but he looked good down there. I got to give it to him.
He looked good. Like now, I'm telling people, he's not a per se true point guard. He has true point guard skills. Like I said, he's an interchangeable guard, but he has to be behind someone that can score it at the guard, and that would allow him to you will see his talent more better because, like I said, he's from Europe and they play a style of a game where it's team ball. It ain't me going for mine. That's how he plays. So if you put him with a guard that can make a bucket anytime, he'll be perfect to play behind him. He can, like I said, he's a starting guard. But if you have to put him with a scoring guard so you can see his true talent, so people can really fall in love with him. Now, if he's just a point guard, people are expecting him to do more than that, and it's going to take time for for him to develop that instinct to attack more. Now, I hear people getting on my son Tier. I understand he lost us the game tonight because I was yelling at my TV. But he's gonna need development. But one thing I like about him, he takes it to the rack, man. He breaks down that defense. His only problem is he's gonna have to learn how to pass because every time he had the ball, he was not even looking to pass.
Right. Running out that shot clock.
But like I said, he's gonna play in the G League a lot this year and probably next year. But I like how he attacks the paint. He's gonna get better with time. Now with Kevin Knox, I heard somebody say he's Kevin Durant. No, he's not Kevin Durant. He's more of a Paul George before injury, but a little more aggressive. He showed me something more. He showed me more aggressiveness in the summer league than he had in college. But he's more of a Paul George, a Paul George before injury. KD's a different beast. Like KD and LeBron is their own entity. Now with Mitchell Robinson, he's gonna need about like 4 years. He's gonna need about 3. Yeah, he's gonna because despite he didn't play, in college, he was doing a lot of frustrating fouls. All the fouls that he had was all frustration because they was dogging him in the paint. But like I said, his defensive instinct is there.
Yeah, and I think he's just gonna need time to get his strength up. But listen, he is signed to the regular roster. They can send him to the G League.
Yeah, that deal was nice.
They can send him to the G. Right? Yeah, it's a decent. What is it? 4 years, $6.5 million or something like that.
Yeah, damn near 1.5 per year.
Yeah, that's a good deal for a kid coming out of high school, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, when we get rid of Noah and Cantor by the time, because I think what they're gonna do with him, they're gonna test him out in the beginning of the season, and if he don't do so well, they're gonna throw him in the G League and then come back.
Yeah.
Because he has to play NBA minutes to see how he's gonna acclimate to the see if he's gonna need G League or he can stay on the roster. But he's gonna go in the G League. And one more thing, and what I wanted to say, Trey Williams, his energy is it is nuts. Like it is. I think he has a spot on this roster. The only thing he's gonna have to learn, he's gonna have to tone it down a little bit. He's gonna have to control his speed because his speed takes over more than his talent. But when he learns how to harness that speed, he's gonna be a very effective wing. He's gonna have to learn how to. With his shooting ability, he's got to learn how to take good shots, not them shots that he takes. But he's going to be good. And before I go, I was coming up with an idea between me and you to create a show on your show.
Okay.
How about we set something up like First Take?
And hit me up. You got Twitter or something? Hit me up.
Yeah, I got Twitter. I'm gonna hit you on my Twitter. And we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna get all the equipment and stuff and jump on here and we could do something like that, Because that right there, what I learned about YouTube over the years, when you bring a yin and a yang, with your personality, is great for me because I like to create a little havoc and people love to see that. And that draws views on his channel and that will help you a lot. Hey. Because people like to see a dude with energy and then a dude that could tone down my energy a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a yin and a yang.
Let's talk.
So I'll hit you up on Twitter and everything.
All right. Sound good, man. Let's talk. Right, let's see what we can do. All right.
Shout out to the chat, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace out.
Let's see what's going on. My man, who's Mark? My man. Ron Martinez, what's poppin', man?
Hey, what's going on, Simeon? Shout out to the chat.
Chilling, man. So, how you feeling? Have you had a chance to watch the 2 summer league games?
Yeah, I saw yesterday's game. Tonight, I kind of I almost forgot the game was on. By the time I tuned in, it was already in the third quarter, so I didn't I missed the whole first half.
Yeah. So, what you think about what you have seen?
What I've seen so far, I mean, I got mixed emotions, and you know how I don't want to be the downer here. I'm excited to finally get to see some basketball, some Knicks basketball. Mm-hmm. Got to see the kids play, and I like the hustle. I saw the whole game yesterday. They were hustling, they were diving for balls. So even though I know it's a summer league, but it's good to see NBA players hustle, and diving for balls and. I was highly impressed by Kevin Knox. I mean, that's just a glimpse of, we're only scratching the surface right now. So who knows? It's scary to know that he's only 18. He could get a whole lot better. So that's kind of scary.
It is. It is. So he's 18. He looks like he could come into the league. He can come into the league when the league starts and produce.
Yeah, and I want to put him on the same level as the Greek Freak, but I saw a glimpse a little bit. It was like, a little glimpse here and there. Like, wow, man, this is just maybe just a preview of what can be. But I know it's still early. He has to, mature. He has to go like Calipari says, like the guy doesn't even shave yet. So like, let's give him a break. So, but not to change the topic, but the reason why I'm frustrated because. It's frustrating to know as a Knicks fan that, this year is probably more about developing. We're not going to the playoffs, so another year we don't even start the playoffs. And we had this conversation, me and you, Simeon, a couple of shows ago. But, all these callers are calling in right now who, the youth movement, the process. Year 2020, I don't want to be hearing this crap no more about the process, brother. We better start making the playoffs. We better start sniffing something, because in New York, what I'm looking at right now is, Scott Perry's there, Steve Mills there. We got a new coach. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if Scott Perry, is there's going to be a melting between the philosophy of what Scott Perry wants to do and what, Fizdale wants to do. Like, is there going to be kind of like a compromise there? Like the meeting of the minds of what the blueprint, how we talked about the blueprint or what Scott Perry wants to do with his team.
Right.
And I don't want to be depressed that the callers here, the Knicks fans here, but just hear me out real quick. I know you got another call to get, but Knicks fans, be very careful what you ask for when you talk about you want a young team, because right now Devin Booker just signed a 5-year deal the other day for like what?
Yeah, he signed a deal. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but he signed a 4 or 5 year deal.
Yeah, that's not New York, and he's getting like 30 mil. They haven't won a championship. They're still rebuilding. They're still in the youth movement. That's 30 mil right there. Durant, he got a ring. He got more than one chip, and he's giving them a home discount. And so when KP comes to the table with his agent, there's gonna have to be some kind of give and take there, because you can't come in there asking for more money than Kevin Durant, and Durant already won a championship.
Right.
You think about it, right? Because Durant, I think he's getting like 25 mil, but he can afford to give that discount because because he can afford to do it. He's won, he's on a great team. You go in there and his agent start playing hardball, talking about, I don't know, man, because right now I look at it this way: we're talking about free agents down the road. Eventually, you got to pay these players. Because look, the Greek Freak, I think he's making like $28 million a year. These ball players. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at Kevin Knox. Hey, he's not going to be a baby for long. If he starts developing every year, getting better, hey, by year 3 or 4, hey, we got to pay him too. So that's what I'm thinking is very crucial. Remember we talked about a while ago that we in the office, it's not so much Scott Perry and Steve Mills. We need a salary cap guru in there that knows what the heck they're doing.
We definitely need that.
Because next year, if they sign the wrong player and get the wrong deal, we're going to hurt our chances down the road, because these players – down the road, they're going to want to get paid. I'm pretty sure but you eventually can't keep everybody. But with KP, I think it's crucial what's going to happen with that contract, because our youth movement, they're babies now, but eventually they want to get paid. And right now, Devin Booker, don't got a chip. He's making 30. I know they're saving money by doing that now, getting an extension, but eventually we got to pay these players. So between next year with KP and whoever we pick up, but yeah, man, I was excited. It was good to see some basketball finally. I was happy. But I'm like, man, when I saw Devin Booker sign that deal with Devin Booker, I'm like, oh my God. It's like, we got KP coming next year. I'm like, I hope his agent, his brother, is his brother the agent, or he has another person as an agent?
I think it's still his brother.
Yeah, I hope his brother don't go into tripping, man, asking for some crazy amount of money, because it's like, brother, you haven't even won a championship. You got to relax with that. I understand and I understand when it comes to salary, the market dictates what you got to pay this player. But I'm pretty sure it's like, hey, if you want to we're building something here. You can't get greedy now, because we have to decide, every year we got to add a piece, Yeah. So, but man.
Yeah, we see what happens with it, man. You're definitely right. We got to have I think they've done well, right now the way it is, but in a couple of years it's going to be thick, and they're going to really have to be able to work that cap for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, because if you have 2-3 max contracts there, that means someone has to go. You know?
Yeah. Hey, Ron, man, appreciate the call as usual.
No problem, brother. And good. It was nice. I got to see the other show the other day with this guy from the other podcast. What's his name? He had him as a guest also. The guy with the other Knicks from the Knicks podcast.
Tommy Dee. You're talking about CP from Knicks Fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was surprised. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They bring different guests now, so that's cool.
Yeah. We got a couple of guests coming up too. Yeah.
All right, bro.
All right, man.
I will who's Mark. That thing idea he said about having a debate, like that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with it. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right, appreciate it. Peace.
Peace, bro. Well, peace.
Yeah, we do. He's right. We're gonna have to be. We're gonna need some people in there that can manage the cap. You know what I'm saying? Because the cap is going to be important coming up in the next few years if we want to take it where we think we can take it. Now I want to give a big shout out to Elijah Moon. Said they're tuning in from Melbourne. It was 2:12 p.m. I just want to give you a shout out. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're still on, Elijah. Appreciate it. I also want to, again, we got Harris Rubenstein, who's going to be on Tuesday. And many of you guys may not know who Harris is. I'm going to show you who he is right now. All right, so, just you can know who Harris is. This guy right here, Harris Rubenstein, Chat Sports, You know, they do their thing on YouTube. They're a pretty big show on YouTube. Yeah, so he's coming on Tuesday night to chat with us a little bit, talk New York Knicks and talk basketball and maybe some other things. We'll see. You know what I mean? So hopefully you join us. Check us out with Harris Rubenstein and Chat Sports. Not only will we have Harris Rubenstein and Chat Sports, but then on Thursday, we'll have Fro Magnum. You guys are going to get to know her. You guys are like Fro Magnum. She's got a really good personality. She has a little YouTube channel. She has a podcast. So she's going to come on and talk with us. Right now, she's in Las Vegas at Summer League. So hopefully she'll have some stories to tell us from Summer League. All right. But let's talk Mitchell Robinson before I get out of here. I didn't get a chance to talk about him with Tommy Dee. I mean, you know, we were having a... Yeah, Chat GM. The video he did about draft night was pretty, was pretty cool. If you talk about Chat Sports, you know, with Chat Sports, they had, you know, they do some really good streams on Chat Sports. You know what I mean? They had a whole stream for free agency. They was on for like 24 hours straight for free agency. They was on for the NBA draft, so you know they did pretty good. You know. You guys get a chance to go check out Chat Sports. You'll like it. I can guarantee it. You'll like them. But let's talk about Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson signed a nice contract, as we talked about earlier. You know what I'm saying? Mitchell Robinson. You guys asking to see Fro Magnum. I'll bring up a Twitter page for you. All right. But Mitchell Robinson signed a nice contract, and I think his contract is 4 years, 2 years guaranteed. The other 2 years, is they have, there's team options involved. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? So Mitchell Robinson is going to be around for a while, I think. And look, the kid has some ability that I didn't know that he had. Of course, I seen it in the. I seen some videos about with Mitchell Robinson. I've seen. Seen him working out with Anthony Davis's guy and working on his jump shot. Seen him working on that one dribble drive to the basket from half court, which we got to see in the last game. You know what I mean? Listen, the guy is long, he's lanky, he's got to build his upper body strength. He can. I'm excited about him. I'm really excited about him. You know what I mean? So, to end this show, I want you guys, talk to me a little bit about Mitchell Robinson. Gary Dunbar, you said Mitch plays hungry. Like no diva on the court. I agree with that. Plays hungry. He's going to be a cleanup guy for us. His offensive game. He's really going to have to work on his offensive game and learn, he's going to have to develop that offensive game. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to develop the offensive game, but he can do a lot of the dirty stuff for us until that offensive game develops. You know what I mean? And I seen they worked on some jump hooks with him. He's got the footwork, he's got the talent. Give me a call. Tell me what you think about Mitchell Robinson. And do you think he has a long? Is he going to be with us long term? Does he have a long term future with the New York Knicks? You know what I'm saying? Does he have a long-term future with the New York Knicks? I want to know what you're thinking about it. You know what I mean? And while I'm waiting for a call, I should have a call. I'm going to bring up Fro Magnum so you guys know who Fro Magnum is. Go check out her Twitter page. All right, check out her Twitter page. Follow Fro Magnum on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like I said, she is currently she's in Las Vegas at the Knicks game. Oh, I'm sorry, at the Summer League. All right, so we're gonna. Nope. So let me bring up Fro Magnum for you real quick. Guys, make sure you go to her Twitter page. Go to her Twitter page. Who I got on the line here? Who's on the line? Hello? Yo. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Sim?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, give me 1 second, man. Give me 1 second while I pull up Fro Magnum's page. You know, these guys about to, probably lose their stuff. You know how these guys do. So this Fro Magnum right here, Fro Magnum, she is a pod. She does a YouTube channel. She does a podcast. And she's going to join us on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about, just talk about the New York Knicks. She has a great personality. She's over in Las Vegas right now. All right. So, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, one second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. About that Mitchell kid, man, I've been saying it from day one, man. This kid, it's something about big men that I think a lot of people got to pay attention to, like their fluidity of how they run and move and do things on the court and how easy they do it. It says a lot. And that kid has a lot of timing. I know he's rusty, but for a young kid, he's special, man.
Uh-huh.
He's very special. And I like how Fizz is like just like giving these dudes so much confidence to just go out there and just play what they're good at. And I think that's the smart thing. I think that's what the type of coaching we've been missing for a very, very long time, because everybody was trying to make the players what they want them to be. And you can see he's just kind of like using their attributes and kind of creating his, his mold. I'm just excited, man.
Well, I mean, you heard him in the he went live. They did an interview with him live today, and he said it. Look, they're building. They put some rules in place with the young kids about respect and different things, and they're building that culture from the ground up.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And he said, the guys are buying into it so far, and he's hoping it, of course, translates to the basketball court.
Yeah, that's good, man. I think that's real good, because now you got a bunch of young men kind of like building with some kind of foundation, from deeper foundation, and just throwing them on a basketball court. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
real good. He's teaching these young guys how to be men.
Yeah,
he's helping these young guys learn how to be men, and so it's going to go beyond the basketball court, but then it's going to relate to the basketball court as well. So I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, and the thing is, another thing is, because I've been saying this throughout the chat though, because I called before I've been following you since 87 subscribers, man. So yeah, I used to call as RK Walker, but it was like, I've been watching this team get put together, and with this front office, and how I see they're thinking ahead 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And it's not bad if, like I heard the call up earlier was saying how we got to pay all these guys and stuff. I think that's a good problem, because if you think about it, that was a situation that OKC was in a few years ago, and they would start thinking and got panicky about the money and traded away James Harden,
right?
And end up losing KD. So it was like, and it was just short. Like, imagine going to those finals and those conference finals with James Harden and KD, and just to pay them. Dolan gonna pay. I don't know. People got to know with Dolan, when it comes to winning, that boy will pay money. He don't care.
Right.
As we've been seeing, that's his track record. So it's like, I just think that a lot of people underestimate this young talent, because these young kids, they're so long, they're quick, they're eager to learn, and they're very defensive minded, from Frank to everybody. Like, everybody needs to chill on Frank. Frank will be.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be
Frank
fine.
Is gonna be fine. He's
Yeah.
gonna be fine. He he's just, I like where how he's from, like I like his foundation. Like, you know, what Fitz said something where he could hang his hat on, like his defense. He could go and guard anybody. You know, now like even out of the post, you got to remember now, he come down on a fast break. Now he don't have to be like on the top of the key. Now he has an option, like he could probably go deeper and then start backing down. Because most of the time he's gonna have a smaller point guard. Because when I was watching him in the game yesterday, I was saying that to myself, like, why he ain't like abused Trey Young when he was on the court? He got him almost, you know, about 7 inches. So it's like you should have been on the post with him and forced them to pull him out of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's where his aggressiveness should be. And while he's coming down on Trey, like how he looks and has the vision to set everybody up, let him be that.
And you know what? And listen, he's working on it though. He's working on that. Like they put him in the post. They put him in the post.
Yeah. And that, you see that gonna open up, and that ain't it yet. Remember, he's just 19.
Yeah, for sure.
He's coming all the way from overseas. And although that's a different game, but he's still young enough to mold him with the other aspect to the game, would make him more dangerous.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. 100%.
You know what I mean? So don't sleep on it, man. Guys, everybody, I'm telling you, don't feel like, don't think that this is no 20-year project. These dudes is thinking winning.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when you have a young guy like Knox coming in, what? And you got Mitchell on $1.5 million for the next 4 years. Come on,
yeah,
what?
yeah. And let's see. I can't wait to see. We got 1-2 more games left of summer league. I can't wait to see the way we come into the season, and see what we do in the season. You know what I mean? But hey, King, I appreciate the call, bro. I gotta rock. I know I got some other people.
Man. Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat, everybody, man. Let's go, Knicks. Black is time.
Peace, baby. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.
Yes, sir. Give me a call, man. Give me a call. Got a couple more minutes left, so give me a call if you wanna get your call in. A lot of people excited about the New York Knicks right now. Feeling good about our future and what we looking forward to in the next few years. You know what I'm saying? I got on the line Noah. What's poppin', Noah? What's going on with you? Noah, you here? Noah. I guess we lost Noah. Guess we lost him. All right, give me a call if you're trying to get on. Give me a call. I think we lost Noah. But anyway, like we were saying, the future is looking really good. Mitchell Robinson, Troy Williams, Kevin Knox, KP, Frank Ntilikina. We definitely have some things to look forward to. Coming up, just to let you guys know what's happening and what's coming up. In the next couple of days, we have Harris Rubenstein from Chat Sports coming on Tuesday night, and then we have Fro Magnum coming on Thursday night, and then next, and I'm gonna get a graphic and put this up for you guys. All right, and then on the 15th, I forgot who's coming on the 15th. We got somebody coming on the 15th. And then we got Knicks Film School coming on the 17th. So, we're going to be busy. We definitely busy. Sean, what's popping, bro? How you feeling?
Hey, Sam. How's it going?
I'm chilling, man. How you doing? Good.
Hey, so I know a lot of people are excited about Knox and Mitchell Robinson. But let's try to keep things in perspective a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Because Kevin Knox.
Go ahead.
What's up?
No.
Because Kevin Knox, he might have had a good game, but if you look at some of the shots he took, and his actual shooting, it didn't really look all that good per se. and I know maybe like he's a rookie and he might be a little bit nervous about being a starter and like how he's gonna like play the game. But like there were certain times where like he didn't really look all that good, especially on defense, especially when guys were trying to blow by him. Like there were a couple of iffy situations, and maybe that's something that he can hone in on like as the season gets closer. But there's still a lot of question marks about Knox's defense and things like that, and maybe like his shot selection. So that's just something that we may want to pump the brakes on him a little bit. I know he looked good in the summer league, but you also got to remember, like he's playing against one or two like first round picks, and then like a bunch of like scrub players who probably aren't going to be on like anybody's roster anyway.
I've heard that argument before, but Donovan Mitchell, he killed in the summer league last year, and he played against the same type of guys. I don't think that everything relates to the regular NBA game when you're talking about summer league. You know what I mean? Because when you're talking about like you said, when you talk about summer league, you got guys that most of them aren't going to be in the NBA, right? But you also, if your player can go out and dominate those guys the way he's supposed to, right, then, you have a good chance that player will possibly, play well in the league. Now, of course, we have players who do well in summer league and then they don't get into the league and they do well. But there are certain things that you got to look at. You got to look at Knox's footwork. You got to look at his strength. You got to look at the speed at which he can get to the basket. All those things that you see that he can do.
There are flaws in his game that he needs to develop like over the course of time. It's not like he's like like he might be like an exciting player to watch, but there are still flaws in his game that he needs to work on.
Well, yeah. He's 18. There's going to be flaws in his game. He's 18 years old. There's no way he's not going to have flaws.
And another thing about Mitchell Robinson, like I know he shot 6 for 8 and he got like 14 points and like 11 rebounds, and that looked really good. Like in the stat line,
right?
But like when he was getting posted up by like other like 7-footers, like he looked really bad. Like there were times where like he was hacking away and he didn't seem like all that locked in on the defense. So like that's
you're right. He's got to get strengthened. He's got to build up his upper body. We know that. But you can look at his shoulders to see that he's going to be able to bulk up. He's not going to get really, really big, but he'll get stronger. Tell me this, Sean. What do you expect to see from these guys in summer league? What do you expect to see that lets you know that these guys are going to be good NBA players?
I need better decision making. I want to see better decision making from Frank. I want to see better like follow through with Knox, and I need Mitchell Robinson to be just like a smarter player, especially when it comes to post ups on the defense. Like that's what I want to see them progress at.
Well, right. They need to progress that way throughout as they're developing, but they're kids. They're kids.
Yeah, I know. And I think a lot of like Knicks fans, like they get really like they get overly excited about this summer league, and that's all good and well, but it doesn't mean that the Knicks are going to be like, even decent this season.
Well, okay? They might not be.
We might not even be anywhere close to being like in like a playoff contention.
Probably not, because we're gonna be playing with a lot of young kids. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Sean, I'm gonna let you go, man, because it's getting late and I want to get through a couple of more calls. I appreciate the call, but keep watching Summer League because they're gonna convince you. Call back so we can have this conversation again.
All right, man. I'll let you do your thing. Have a good night.
Peace, man. Okay, on the line, I got Mr. Remarkable.
Yo, what's going on? What's better? What's better, Semi-Auto?
What's
What up? I'm a
poppin',
new
man? What's going on with you?
Ain't nothing, bro. Like I'm new to this. Just started watching you, and I just wanted to say salute. I actually was gonna do this myself, but I didn't have the patience to wait for it to grow. So, you definitely got a new follower, man. And shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat section, man. But I do want to kind of address that last caller because he said a few things that kind of bothered me.
Okay.
I want people to sit back and analyze, like deeply analyze, what was your mentality when you were 18 years old?
Exactly.
What was your mentality? Let alone, did you even have the capability of almost accomplishing what these kids are accomplishing?
Right.
Like, you're not stable. If you're going based off of decision making, then you should be complaining about the player I want to complain about. And I'm not too crazy about Dotson like everybody else. Because the dude is 24. And even today, he made some questionable decisions as far as his shot selection. It's a flow of the game aspect that he missing, if you ask me. Like, I'm not really too crazy about this dude like everybody else. Like, he's, especially with all the pieces we recently added, he's expendable to me. Personally, that's what I think. He's definitely expendable.
Okay.
As far as Frank, another one. He's a kid. Everybody's coming down on him. Allow him to blossom and establish who he is besides being a defender. You see when he put his back, when he started posting, Chauncey Billups type, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
when he started breaking dudes down, he was doing this thing. Let the man be great. Let him build his way up.
Right.
Stop with the pressure and it's unnecessary. It's like it's crazy because it shows basketball knowledge, especially me as I played point guard myself, and people don't understand the essence of the game from the inside. It's too many. How I say it. It's too many critics and not enough champions. It's too many people that's just pointing fingers and pointing this way and that way, and not too many people who know the sweat and the blood and the tears that go into this. It's not that simple. Like I just don't get it. But besides that, what was we talking about?
I mean, right now we really just, we really just talking right now. I'm coming down to the end of the show. You know what I mean? Right. We talked about Mitchell Robinson and his contract and everything. Coming down to the end of the show, so we just kind of rambling on. I'm about to close up shop in a couple of minutes.
Definitely, yeah. Well, real quick, and as far as the strength that he was complaining about, Mitch, he's look how skinny he is. Let the kid grow.
He got to grow.
I mean, at the end of the day, they are kids going against kids, but still, like, the dude ain't having. When the last time he played ball? Let him get into physical shape. You already know how the NBA players, how they, work out, and the strength and conditioning coaches, they make sure that they're strong. Look at Garnett. Garnett is a twig, but he was strong. You know what I mean? Let him develop into what he's going to develop, and he's going to shut a lot of people up. And I love that signing. But last but not least, who's dude number 17, man? He been on our summer league team and on our D League team, man. I don't know why he keeps coming back. Why they keep letting him back?
Number 17, who is that?
Yeah, I forgot his name, man. Oh my God, I just remember the number. But he was playing point guard a little bit in the second half. Dude, he just kills me. I'm like, why they keep letting this dude back? It don't make no sense. I'm like, I know dudes want to, get their opportunity, and I respect that, but he's not. It's not benefiting us at all. Oh, and I do see Tim Hardaway Jr. If he do stay, I think he's best as a sixth man. I also want to address that.
Right now, I don't think that Tim Hardaway is going to be a starter on a really good team.
No,
maybe for our team right now, but as we get better. I don't see him being a starter on a good team. On a good team.
Me either.
Yeah.
Me either, man. But you like Dotson though?
I'm still waiting to see what he can do. I like what he does defensively. I like his size. I'm just waiting to see before I really call it. I did say in the maybe last show that I did. If someone offered something for him that I thought was good enough, or if he was included in the big trade, I would trade him.
Yeah, you did say that. You did say that.
Yeah.
But think about Clee Anthony. I think about Clee Anthony when I think about him. When you come a certain age, I have expectations. My expectations is higher versus
I feel you.
Knox. Come on, Knox.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. He's the youngest dude in the draft. Like, are you kidding me? You're going to clown his decision making? He's whatever.
Well, hey, man, I'm going to let you rock.
Yes,
I'm going to take one more call before I bounce on up out of here. All right?
You the man. You the
Appreciate
man.
you, bro.
You will get more calls from me. And FYI, you look like my pops.
All right.
I'm going to try to get you a picture of him
soon.
So you already know, bro.
All right.
Hold it down. Salute
Peace,
to
man.
the chat, man.
Peace.
Bless.
Yeah, let me get one more call in here before I rock on up out of here. Get one more call. Only fitting. My man, Tony Crowe, what's popping, bro?
What up, Sam? I just wanted to touch up on something real quick. That last caller, I agreed 100%. I'm not really sold on Dotson either. I think Dotson has like the ideal. I think he looks like, you know what I mean? He should be a great player. I think he the work ethic as well, so he can get there. But I do believe he's behind the curve a little bit. I think he should be a little bit more developed and performing a little bit more than he has been. But again, he has shown flashes. I wouldn't just give up on him 100% like right away. But I think even guys as bad as Moutier has played, I think Moutier is more talented. You know what I mean? I if we had to make a choice, I might still go with Moutier over Dotson based off of talent and hoping Fizdale could get the most out of his talent.
Right.
But I do still like Dotson. But I just he made some good points, and I've been thinking about that a little bit lately. Like, cause somebody's got to go. We've been talking about that for a minute.
Right.
I mean, even with Courtney Lee potentially out the picture, I still think somebody might still have to go. And then the other thing I was thinking, the undrafted kid, Alonzo.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a lot more developed right now than Dotson is. You know what I mean? As far as what he does, it don't matter who he's playing against. He does what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a better scorer. You know, Dotson is a little bit more score. You know, he's gonna score out of the offense, where Alonzo Trier, you know, he's probably going to be better suited as a one-on-one guy, or someone who can score a little bit better in transition.
I heard them calling him ISO-Zo.
Yeah, right.
So,
hey,
I just.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just want to touch up on that point real quick, because like I said, somebody's got to go. Even with Lee out the picture potentially, I think somebody else still might have to go.
Okay.
So it's just gonna be interested, as I think that everybody fighting for that position and fighting for their minutes and their spot. I think hopefully that'll bring out the best in everybody. I'm actually super excited about preseason, because I think that's when a lot of this is gonna get determined when we have the the full real players or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Hey Tony, appreciate the call back.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I don't know, if you're still gonna be up, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna DM you.
Yeah. Hit me if I don't respond. If I don't respond tonight, or if you don't respond tonight, I'm off tomorrow. So anytime tomorrow, you know what I mean, we get to chop it up back and forth.
All right, bet.
All
right, peace. Otherwise, you here? Trying to get Otherwise on the line. I don't think I'm gonna get him. I think he got me. All right, folks. It's almost 3 hours we've been on. Long show. Good show, though. Good show. Thank you for Tommy Dee coming out, showing us some love. Everybody who called in, everybody who hit me up in the super chat, thank you for the love. Listen, you know, I'm chatting it up with some people, and you know, we got some things that's gonna be popping off soon. So I need you guys to stay with me, get some more people involved. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna keep, we're gonna keep it fan centric always. You know what I mean? So I got some things that I'm working into. You know, keep fans having fun. But we got some things going on, and soon, you know, we'll be able to, you know, I'll be able to let you know, some things we got popping. You know what I mean? So let people know, you know, get the word out to people. Tell them come check out the show, subscribe, you know, talk in the chat, and you know, we're gonna keep this thing moving along. Always constant elevation. You know what I mean? Always moving up, constant elevation. Let's keep it there. You know, we're gonna constantly elevating together. Everybody uplifting each other. Let's make it move. But listen, I'm out for the night. Ballhead Slick, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. We definitely gonna keep rocking. We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna ride this all the way up. We're riding it all the way up. But I'm out for the night. I'll definitely be on Tuesday night, right after the Summer League game. I'll be on at 10:30. I think the game starts at 8:30. I'll be on at 10:30. Fro Magnum, she'll be on with us, reporting to us from Summer League. Well, she'll be back in New York, but you know, she'll let us know what it was like over there. All right. So let's stay with it, y'all. Peace. Have a good start to your week, and let's talk on Tuesday. If you liked this stream, please hit the subscribe button below. Ring the bell. Get a notification anytime that I go live. Stay with us as we report about the Knicks and throughout the summer, throughout free agency, all the way in the summer, all the way in the camp, and then into the season. Special guests. We're going to have special guests on all the time. Special events happening on a regular basis. Keep popping with us. Peace.